right, here we go. Let the sound. Oh, that's good. Did you guys finish too? What's up, guys? Welcome back to a new episode of Don't Be Sour. We have a special guest. Christian has gotten taller and a whole lot funnier.
A lot less fit.
We got my buddy Pat on here, a.k.a. Blackbird RVA. If you follow me and you've seen these sick-ass wallets, this is the creator, handmade.
Yep.
Handmade.
Old
now,
school.
I thought we'd do something a little different this time. So instead of like hard introducing you, I'm actually going to save the full introduction of them like finding out about you until later. And we're going to dive straight into some Q&As that I got from the pod, and your involvement on it will be able to tell people if they like you or not.
Nice.
So they're going to find out if they like you before they find out who you are.
I love it.
I am kind of pissed though. I feel like someone came in and like touched my drum set. All my cameras, someone touched my cameras. I set this podcast up so I could just come in and press like play and record on all of them. Someone touched my cameras and everything's set up differently. So I hope it's fine for you guys. Okay, ready for this? We're just gonna dive in.
Yeah.
We're gonna dive in.
Hi, guys.
Joe's so pissed off about all the tariff comments that he got in the last pod.
I'm actually not, dude. I'm over it.
He's gonna come back to those.
I can't help with you idiots.
Someone asked, why is it so hard to stay off your phone? Because I mentioned that I'm on my phone while I'm brushing my teeth, and that's ridiculous. So I want your
that is a little wild.
When you're brushing,
but you have that like girly ass little sticky thing.
I do this little
So you like stick it on the mirror.
Octopus thing.
I'm judging you, dude. If I walked into the bathroom, I don't know why we would be in the bathroom together, but if I walked into the bathroom and I saw your phone stuck to a mirror and you're just sitting there swiping, brushing your teeth, like.
So I guess the greater question is, do you think that being on your phone, like whenever you have a free second, is ridiculous or not?
So I watch that app.
Obviously, Pat watches all the content.
I do, yeah. Really, I love it. I'm not really a phone guy, or I go through waves. I'll definitely police myself a little bit. Mm-hmm. But is the sticky stuff? Is that what's the ring that people had on their phone forever?
No, they still have that too.
Yeah.
Here's my thing: if I'm brushing
Max
my
is
teeth,
hands free.
First of all, does everyone uses an electric toothbrush, right?
Yeah.
I don't.
Okay. What?
I never. Every time I get one, it breaks or I forget to charge it or something.
Just when you think the pod isn't going to go a direction,
you're still on. You've got a McLaren, but you don't have an electric toothbrush.
I'm a simple man. It's a good motion, dude.
There's no dentist on the planet, including Daryl. There's no dentist on the planet.
You sure it's not 9 out of 10?
That would say that a manual toothbrush is superior in any way to
I think it's
electric.
probably 9 out of 10.
How long do you brush your teeth for, Joe? You don't know.
Wait, this thing like beeps you and shit?
It has a 2-minute timer and it vibrates every 30 seconds.
I've never had a cavity in my life, so I think I'm all right.
You got every 30 seconds you change quadrants.
I like the medium. I don't like the soft. I like the medium bristles, like the firm. I like a firm toothbrush. I like a soft toothbrush.
It's firm for her pleasure.
Whatever, I don't care.
Well,
are you doing store brand? You doing?
I mean,
Colgate?
whatever I can get. Yeah, I'm not.
See, my thing is
on my brands.
The toothbrush. It's got a 2-minute timer. So for 2 minutes, you got something gargling your mouth here. You can't do nothing. Why not just scroll on my phone? So I don't find it ridiculous to be on my phone while I'm brushing my teeth.
Are you okay? Here's the question.
What am I just going to stare at myself?
Are you consuming content? Like, what are you doing on your phone?
Well,
because I think the problem is people I think subconsciously people pick up their phone. Like, I think, you're not doing anything. You just pick it up and you're not even looking. You're just scrolling to scroll. Like, is that what you're doing? Or you're like checking stocks and stuff? Oh,
I'm checking stocks 800 times a day. No.
What do you do while you're brushing your teeth?
It could be whatever, bro.
But what is it mostly?
YouTube videos, Instagram scrolling,
I'm more
Twitter.
okay with the YouTube video than an Instagram scroll.
Are they shorts? Like, what is?
No, I don't watch any like reels.
You got a
or
timer
anything
on your phone.
No, I don't have a timer. Here's the thing: when I'm consuming content, I'm just not like the average person, just mindlessly scrolling. I'm doing research and development for content of myself. So all content I'm consuming, I'm finding out what piqued my interest to find out how it piqued audience's interest to better my content. So I'm always working.
You're not.
Like, you guys are saying that you have a block on Instagram or whatever.
I don't.
But you just go through it.
I do.
Yeah.
I do, but like very
it.
rarely. If I'm on vacation or something, I will. If I'm trying to like spend time, like if you guys, if it came up today, I'm like, I'm good. I'm not going to look at it.
But what about just screen time? Like, you got the counter on your phone.
What is your screen time?
A lot.
Pull it up.
More than 8 hours?
Jamie, pull it up.
Bro,
I mean, daily average. It sends you the...
Hold on. Pat left his phone over there like a non...
Daily average, 4.5 hours.
That's
not
bad
bad.
at all.
Yeah, I'm gonna be worse than
Why
that.
would you be worried about your
Yeah,
your
why is
thing?
someone's worried about me? I'm not worried.
Oh, 341, dude. I'm under you.
I think I'm above that, dude.
You're like,
and I'm
I
and I'm
police
the guy
myself.
that's
I don't
going,
use my phone.
no, I mean, I'll show it.
Oh, wait, Wait, screen time.
Oh wait, is it because it's like?
It says for the week. Last week. Okay. This is gonna blow people's minds. Last week, I guess it says your apps, and I'm assuming this is for the week.
Yeah.
I was on Robinhood for 9 hours.
No.
It
But
says
for the whole week.
yeah, most used. Maybe that just shows
So that's like
daily
what, like
average.
an
I'm
hour
on
and a half a
Robinhood
day?
an hour and 17 minutes a day.
Wait, you just leave it open? You're just like watching it all day?
Just crying.
I check Robinhood. I would say every minute to 3 minutes.
That's not good. You shouldn't do that.
Bro, I check it and I'll be like either happy or pissed. And then just like, I don't know, 2 minutes later, I'm just like, is it up or down from last time I looked?
Well, they say like don't check, but with the amount of volatility, it's either shooting up or shooting down. You got to check.
I got to
Like,
check.
It doesn't make any sense to not check. But
Over an hour a day, I'm on an app that you don't actually do anything besides just look at it.
I was gonna say I'm like actively buying and selling, and I don't even use it that much. I'm
dude, I
like,
haven't bought or sold. I know that you're doing the DCA thing, which is it's going to work out.
Dollar cost averaging.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
going to be great.
Yep.
I'm doing big brain moves. I saw that Tesla's earnings were absolutely trash, and I sold all my Tesla, and then it went up 20%.
Yep.
So that's cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, do you, on any of your TV apps, do any of you have the pleb version like I do on some where you have commercials? Like on Peacock, I have commercials.
I don't know. Alex handles all that.
Oh.
Do you ever see commercials?
No.
Yeah.
But Hulu, I mean, but now there's like Hulu Super Premium, right? Like
Yeah.
Hulu always had ads, and I'm like, well, this is just
No.
this is
Max
just
has ads on
cable.
like Netflix and shit. We went to y'all's house to watch
no,
a movie. and-
not on
Where-
Netflix.
no, it was in Vail.
On Peacock and like Hulu, maybe Disney. We have ads. But I kind of look.
How much money did you sell sour shirts for?
Yeah, right.
But it's kind of nice because then you get like a 60-second break to go get a snack or something.
I will say, young me did enjoy.
break.
Yeah, right. Like used to be watching like SpongeBob, and you had that little break to go get like a
Yeah.
a
And
snack
oddly
pack.
enough, I kind of like watching commercials. When I listen to the radio when I'm driving, I like to listen to the commercials because in my head, I like to see like what does like modern marketing spend look like, and like people are still spending money on these like commercials and ads, and I'm like, I like absorbing this stuff. I'm always working, bro. I'm observing.
So you enjoy the ads.
I think I enjoy the
So
ads.
it's a double win then.
I'm winning while I'm brushing my teeth and watching Peacock.
If
You're
you
fucking
enjoy the
weird, dude.
ads,
You're a
then you're
weird
saving
guy.
money and it's something you enjoy.
No. Okay, so
But
it's
phone during toothbrush, dude, it's too much.
Joe having a manual toothbrush is ridiculous. Now I know what to get you for your birthday.
Okay,
Dude,
Does your girlfriend have a electric
we're
toothbrush?
both manual, dude.
What is wrong with you?
dude, that's crazy.
Yeah,
What is wrong with you?
That's crazy.
I didn't know this was a thing.
Dude, but brush heads have gotten extremely expensive though. I will say that.
What
Yeah,
kind of toothbrush do you
Do you
have?
still have dial-up internet, Joe?
How much is your toothbrush?
They've gone up. I guess everything's
No. You should toothbrushes. You should go on Amazon and just get one for like $30.
Yours is $30.
Didn't you have the super expensive one a couple years ago? You're like, dude, this one's like $200.
Joe
Oh,
got
I got him one,
Joe
yeah.
got me a $300 like
It, like, charged in a
Sonicare
cup.
Philips,
It was
and I'm
cool.
telling you, I've had a $300 one and a $30 one, and they're the exact same.
I was gonna say- yeah, I
I have
forgot
not
about
sound
Sonicare.
besides the aesthetic of it or how it charges or whatever, like the aesthetic, and like maybe it comes with a charging, and maybe you do like the little UV thing if you like that. But outside of like finding if those features of what you like, all of them are same as long as they just have a built-in 2-minute timer, which 99% of them have.
Bro, I buy a brush for $4, and once a month I buy a new brush.
You're out of your mind.
You just replace the brush.
So
head.
you get
No, I
out
just
of
throw the
your
whole thing away.
Well, I know, but with the electric
Oh.
one, you can just get brush heads.
You get out of your McLaren and then just go and then brush your teeth.
I
with your
didn't know
manual
this was a
toothbrush.
fucking
So
thing.
this is what I'll segue into this real quick because I wanted to bring it up because we briefly touched about it on dinner last night. Bidets, guys, what is happening? Like,
Well, we don't have a bidet.
I know that's the problem.
I've experienced one when I was in the Aria, but I heard a lot of negative things where heated toilet seat, for example, guess what? Now, you know what thrives in a warm environment? Bacteria, Pat.
Yeah,
but
but
it's
it
yours.
self-cleans.
What?
Actually, I would say like for a hotel maybe, but in your house it's your back. Like it's just you and Taylor. Who's using your fucking master bathroom toilet that you're worried about the bacteria?
That's true.
Yeah,
But you can get sick from yourself, I think.
that's
It's your
definitely
gut,
not right.
dude. It's your gut stuff.
I don't know. What's your thoughts on? Have you ever seen where the master bathroom has his and her toilets?
No.
I find that kind of strange.
I appreciate
I've
it
never
though.
seen that.
But
Yeah.
like, unless you're trying to go to the bathroom at the same time
Yeah, but like you shy pooper. I feel like you're a shy pooper
around Taylor,
around anyone.
why would I do that in front of someone else?
See,
That's
But I
not
feel like having
shy.
your
That's
own-
common decency, Joe.
Okay, but I feel like having your own. No, dude, some people don't give a shit.
Literally.
Some
Yeah.
people are like taking shits with the door open, their wife's in the bathroom.
Nope.
It's just,
No,
I know
no.
I'm not that way either, but some people are like that. Okay, but the bidet is,
nice.
I tried it at a hotel and I
Dude,
was
it's but like I don't like so
It's popular in-
what's the point of having a McLaren if you have an itchy asshole?
I don't
while
have an
you're
itchy
driving it?
asshole.
Dude. I'm telling you,
dude wipes. I strictly use dude wipes.
Hey,
Game changer.
If you ever have an itchy butt, you can use it. You can itch yourself with your manual toothbrush, bro.
Hold up, one more. What was I gonna say? There's something in my head. I know that the toilet bowl water is coming from the same thing as like my sink water, but in my head, it's toilet water. And the idea of blasting my asshole with toilet
Guys,
water
we don't want this podcast to get into like crude, gross topics. Okay.
is that
I would say that butt health,
Yeah,
it's
I know
a thing,
it's
dude.
a serious thing, but we just,
okay? All I'm saying is, for some reason in my head, there's a mental block with like you would wash your hands in the sink, but if you wash your hands in the toilet, that's gross.
We bought
But
our
it's the
bidets,
same water, right?
Yeah, well, for the tushy ones and all that kind of stuff.
That's the same thing that people. Not that I'm flinging them around, but if you were to like touch a fingernail of someone, you're like no problem. But the second that they take that fingernail and just separate it from their fingernail and like set it right here, they're like, ugh.
yeah, or a Band-Aid. It's like that.
But if it's connected to your finger, it's fine. I'll touch your fingers all day. But if it's disconnected, ugh.
I'll just end when you guys go bidet, it's really hard to go back. And then at some point I'll see you guys and go, dude, I can't imagine my life. Like when I'm traveling solo, I miss Alex, I miss the dogs, I miss my bidet.
In that order.
In that order. Yeah.
Someone asked about adult like friendship breakups, and I'm going to interpret this as, what do you do if you're in a friend circle and let's say you've both been friends with a girl and the guy for a bit, and then they break up? Do you have to decide at that point who you're friends with? And can you, like, how does that work?
Yeah.
You do. I don't think it changes.
Do you think a lot of them are predetermined? Like, you're like, if they break up, I'm definitely being
I
friends
think the
with
guys are gonna stick with the guys.
I would say it's a little bit more judicial as you get older. Not to say that that's in the 20s thing, bros stick with the bros and whatever, but, we've gone through, it's a little bit more civil, I feel like, now as you get older.
Well, I guess the issue is gonna be like you can be friends with both, but at some point you're gonna have like a house party or something.
Yeah,
you gotta choose who you're gonna invite, or like a
Yeah.
wedding or
And then you like invite that person, and then like they're like, oh, can I bring my new boyfriend or new girlfriend? And you're like, sure. And the other person's like, hey, oh, dude, like, yeah, I'm coming to your party. And I'd be like, you shouldn't, man. You shouldn't. Don't come.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, or it's like, obviously we've replaced in our 30s or, late 20s or whatever, like house parties with like weddings and stuff like that. And it's
Yeah.
like, well, we have to invite them both, chaos ensues. We can't just choose one, but we'll just put them at separate tables. That's not going to end up well.
Yeah, even at my wedding, I won't say who, but like you had to like be strategic with the placements of like seating, because you'll be like, oh, this person used to kind of date that person, and we can't have them sitting together or like even like looking at each. You had to sit them at a different table with like their backs against each other so that one of them wasn't just like glaring over.
Yeah. Then you get too many drinks in you.
Ooh.
Somebody's crying.
God, do you remember back in college just like getting really drunk and then it's like texting your like, I don't know, ex or something? It was always bad.
You never do that.
You never do that.
That's why, dude.
Well, you never had a girlfriend.
Yeah. But all my boyfriends.
Getting older, my employee at the shop, he's great, but he's like, man, what's it like being 35? And you're like, dude, it's like you can see through time.
How old's he?
25.
Oh.
Yeah. So he's kind of going through all the same things. Thank you, bro. That I was going through at 25. I'm like, dude, being 35 is just like you can see through walls, you can see through time. Just all the spider web of decisions that weren't illuminated when you were 25. You can see them. It's like a slow motion car
Or if
crash.
you're X-ray cat, you could see through wood. Does anyone get that reference? No one gets that reference.
Freddie
You
got
don't
fingered,
get,
dude.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
Pat's a consumer of fine films.
Yeah, dude.
Freddie Got Fingered. You ever seen that
I've
one?
never seen
Sent a
it. You
couple
told me to
gifts of
watch
that.
it, but
You've never seen it. Oh well, then the gifts that I sent in the
Yeah, I
group
don't
chat,
know.
maybe
If you
they're
guys
sent.
want like one of the worst and best movies you'll ever see in your life,
Yeah, man.
Freddie Got Fingered.
Zebras in America's all time.
My hooves, my hooves. Listen to
All
my
time.
hooves. There's so many movie quotes that go through my. There's so many movie quotes that go through my head that I don't say out loud because the environment that I'm in, no one will get them unless I'm like with you or.
Yeah.
that one I get a lot of shit for from Max and Super Troopers.
You've never seen the original,
Never seen-
dude.
never
Oh
seen
my
Super
god!
Troopers.
What about anything Broken Lizard? Club Dread. Oh my god, Beer Fest.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I've seen that.
So you've seen Beer Fest.
Yeah.
Okay.
We need to culture you, bro.
It's frustrating.
Yeah.
Joe, what do you think about removing the food dyes? Do you think it's gonna happen, or is like? Because he said it has to happen by 2027. Does that mean it's like locked in stone?
What does that do to you?
That's a great
Are
question.
sour strips
Yeah, I
going to
feel
be
like
clear?
you
Like
would,
just white strips for
Well,
all the flavors?
you guys can actually find out because I posted a Q&A yesterday on my on my YouTube channel. I disguised it as a regular vlog, but it's a Q&A, and I go over in depth this.
You clickbaited it.
No.
It's a fancy way of saying I clickbaited you guys into watching a Q&A.
No, because I put the top, like 2 of the topics as like the title.
continue.
But by clickbait, I mean the thumbnail is going to be like me in front of the house, but the video is me sitting in this chair.
Well, what does it do to you?
But if I put the thumbnail of me sitting in this chair, it won't get as many views if I in front of the house.
I feel like the best, I mean, like how is it going to affect you as somebody in the consumables business and all this kind of stuff? Like,
It kind of like is what it is, right? I kind of look at it like,
Does it mean that sour strips are white? Like if you
What?
can't use food dye, how do you get any
you
color
can
in
use,
the
like,
strips?
you
natural
can't use
colors, right?
artificial food dyes.
Yeah, I know, but I don't think
It's just going to change on a lot of the foods and drinks that everyone consumes, like from chips to like
Right.
the food dyes are in like way more things than people like think they're in. So it's kind of one of those. Yeah, it's going to affect us, but like it doesn't affect the taste of the product.
it's just the visual.
So it's just the visual, but it's kind of one of those like, okay, so we're not going to have bright blues anymore, bright reds, bright greens.
just
Like,
turning the saturation down a little bit.
yeah,
on it.
exactly.
right.
But I kind of look at it as like, okay, but like everyone's not going to have that anymore, so it doesn't really matter. So if like our blues are going to turn more like purpley dark, and like the reds are going to be looking more like cherry, like you ain't getting this bright red, like your like spicy Doritos or whatever ain't having this red
what
powder
about
on
like
it.
Takis, dude? Like they're like
Yeah.
bright blue.
Yeah, it ain't going to be like that.
I'm cool with it. I'm thinking it's.
Yeah.
I think we have over the last like 100 years slowly said like, oh, this food dyes aren't good. I feel like every couple of years one of the new dyes is like, oh, that causes cancer. Let's get rid of it. So I feel
Didn't
like
they say yellow 5 way back in the day was like makes your wiener smaller?
I think it's T
I
count
ate a
or
lot
like
of that.
sperm count or something like that.
Well, everyone was like, oh, if you drink a lot of Mountain Dew, you're
Yeah, no, I think that was a joke, but
It didn't affect me.
I love Mountain Dew. You know what? I say I don't care, but I've told you this. My biggest critique with some of these energy drinks, I don't like they're clear.
I
like the
like
Seabum root
colors.
beer. I love root beer, but it freaks me out when I see it's clear. I'm like, why is root beer clear? It shouldn't be clear. This
Like, what are you
isn't
trying
right.
to hide?
Yeah, same with the ghost lemonade thing you gave me the other day. The first comment I made is like, I like it, but why is it clear? Like, why is lemonade iced tea clear?
like why would it bother you in the sense where like it doesn't taste clear?
No, it's
So
just
it,
weird
like,
seeing it that it's clear.
The
yeah.
color of the drink has to represent
yeah,
the
yeah,
taste.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
if I taste lemonade, but it's clear, that freaks me
But
out.
lemonade is clear.
Okay, iced tea.
Even back in the day,
Root beer. Clear root beer is weird.
in college, when I would make like pre-workout, when I have like a blue raz pre-workout, I want that bitch to be blue.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Like
saying.
I want it to be blue.
There's a mental like block here for me that if I see a clear, like if root beer is clear, I'm immediately like chemicals. Like now I think it's more, even though
So-
it's less chemicals, I think it's more chemicals.
so what they'll
Why
do
it
is
clear?
like is basically all drinks will probably just go
clear.
a lot of them will go clear out about all of them, but like foods will just because the big ones like it's kind of like how basically blue 1, yellow 5, red 40. These are like the main ones, and like to get green you use like a lot of like the blue, right? And to get like red use the red, and like so it's just like for example to make red there's other natural ways. Like there's ones that it's literally like this is gonna sound gross, but like this is just how things are. But like there's a version of red you can get a natural one, and it's like crushed up beetles is like how they create this like red dye. It's like crushed up these little types of beetles. Did you know that silk fabric is like is worms?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Dude, also, I don't know how many like finishings you use, like different kinds.
Yeah.
But like shellac, like OG shellac, is just a bunch of crushed up beetles.
Beetles running the world, dude.
Yeah.
Dude.
Bugs.
That's crazy. Speaking of the world, someone asked, and at first I was like, is this a dumb question? But maybe I'm dumb. What is the purpose of a pope in Europe?
He was the head of the Catholic Church.
He is the head of the Catholic Church, but all the
That's the question.
all that stuff. Is
We just had this
so beyond
conversation.
my-
We looked this up actually. He has no say because I think a lot of people think he's like the king of Italy. Like that's just he has no say like legally with anything. He basically just decides like the future of the religion and which way we're gonna. So like any amendments that they want to bring in and stuff, which I think a lot of people didn't like the previous pope because they said he was like too liberal. Like the previous pope was very
pope, the one that just died.
yeah.
Francis.
Like a lot of like diehard Catholics didn't really like him because I think he like was pretty open with like LGBT and stuff.
What does
which,
the Pope
like, they
do?
were- he's the head
Excuse
of
my
the
ignorance.
church. I mean, he's,
No, seriously,
I don't know. I
does
shouldn't be
that- what does
talking
that- what does
about
that
this.
mean? What does that mean?
I think the Pope can decide like what is and isn't okay in the Catholic religion and like what we're gonna
Of the
allow
whole
and what-
religion?
yeah, pretty much. I mean, he's the head of Yeah.
But there's so many different sects where it's just like Catholic, Roman Catholic,
Yeah.
where it's like, it's a, well, there's so many different.
How does
versions of
one
Christianity.
become a pope? You're voted?
We looked into this. So you have to go to a school for cardinals, and there's an age limit, and only cardinals can vote. So basically, the next pope will be voted for by his peers in his like college, basically. But they're all like 65 and up.
Is this something like I want to be the next pope? You start the journey at like age
Yeah,
10,
yeah.
or like it's
These
like
are
a
all
lifelong?
cardinals that are like in the
Yeah.
Catholic school or whatever that become cardinals, and then they all vote for who they want. And I think they have to be over 65 or something. There is no, you can't be a young pope. There's like an age limit on
Yeah,
this
you got to
shit.
be in it for like a long time.
Yeah.
I know that Francis' big deal was the first one from South America. He
Okay.
was from Argentina.
Yeah.
So when you get voted in, do you get paid, or is it a job?
I mean, I think you.
I mean,
you
I know
live in the
it's like the
Vatican and
life,
stuff.
but like
Yeah, no, I don't know if you
Yeah.
get paid, but like I think your life's paid for. Like I think you live in the
Yeah, just
House
everything's
and-
free. You might not have currency, but like anything you want, you got.
well, those donations at the church going somewhere. Maybe there's a little kickback. I don't know.
here's a question. You know how they say that they're like the president, he makes all the decisions, but there's actually like a bigger power than the president that's like the secret that like, because the government's always conspiracy, and like the government actually doesn't get the final say. There's like
Right.
a higher person that is like secret. Is that like the same thing with the Pope? Like the Pope makes the decisions, but there's like a secret super Pope?
I mean, some of my favorite books are like Angels and Demons and stuff like that. You get really into these like secret societies and stuff like that. You get
What do they say? Are these like, are these fiction or not? These are non, is there like,
I don't know. It's remember like I remember in high school like you're hearing about like the Masonic temples and Skull and Bones and all these.
I've seen that movie, The Skulls,
these
yeah.
super secret societies that are actually operating. That everything that we see is a kind of a
facade?
facade. Yeah, no,
I'm sure it's
thin
run like a
veil.
business. I'm sure there's like a board of directors of the Catholic. I'm sure there's like a fucking board of guys that are making decisions and voting and shit.
So does the Pope, is he like, and I don't know if this is like supposed to be like common knowledge for like Americans, but
I mean,
like,
I'm Catholic and I don't know the
but
answer
like,
to a lot of this.
is the Pope like every Sunday he hosts a sermon, or or is he just doing like business decisions behind the scene and makes
know.
appearances?
I know he does
like,
speeches sometimes, but I think it's only on like holidays. I don't think it's every Sunday.
Well, and
no, I
it's-
think there is something.
I don't know how much like I don't really know what I'm talking about at all, but like obviously the Vatican is its own country inside of Italy. So I don't know if he has any judicial reign inside of the Vatican. I
don't
that They
know.
have like armed
I know
guards
that-
and stuff, but
we were looking the other day. This came up. I think Italy's like 98%. I mean, it's insane. Like Italy's just Catholic. So I think to an Italian, the Pope is like a really big deal. Outside of Italy, I don't know how much.
who's the commander of Italy?
You have a president.
Okay.
yeah, she just met with Trump.
Can the president tell the Pope what to do?
We'll see that. I mean, I don't know because the Pope,
Yeah.
the Vatican, I think is its own like
Yeah.
sovereign. It's like DC,
Right.
where it's like its own thing. So I don't know if
Can the Pope have a wife or
No.
kids?
no.
Celibacy.
So it's like a
All
nun,
cardinals are
like,
yeah.
right?
Well, then you go down a dark.
yeah,
What?
I won't go there.
Yeah.
What?
Well, since they can't have wives and children of their own, there's always that like stereotype where
That kind of the altar boy. That's the joke of the altar boy
Yeah.
where that comes.
now
yeah.
you know why that's a joke.
That's the
It doesn't count.
yeah. Okay.
It's kind of like soaking.
Is there? Oh my God! I just guys, don't look up soaking. I didn't. I just found out what that was.
Yeah.
Don't look that up.
Anyway.
I feel like you'd find a lot of different stuff with that. Okay.
Yeah.
There's look, I recommend anyone that doesn't know about this. There's a South Park episode all about this. Just watch that episode.
Yeah.
Like the
I didn't-
space people come
Is
down.
there like a documentary about like just like I don't know, like something I would be interested in, like learning, just like the
We're talking about not soaking. We're back on
the Pope.
There's a documentary about soaking?
It's probably coming soon.
Yeah, literally, my cousin asked me at work the other day, and that's why I even know about the cardinal thing because we like Googled because we were curious, like how is the new pope selected and all that, and that's why.
Hey, what do you think? Like, when we'll talk about stuff, maybe in like Europe or
Yeah.
like in Europe, people overseas will always be like dumb Americans. But like, what do you think the threshold of like knowledge you should have of stuff outside of your country? Like what's the threshold? It's kind of like, would you expect someone in Italy to know exactly like where all of our states are or something? Like, if someone's like, well, you don't know where this country is, you dumb American, but like, be like, where's North Dakota? Person in Italy, they're like, why would I care to know that?
I would say it's pretty important to obviously be patriotic, but also be kind of considered a world citizen. Geography is pretty cool and important. You know, they have all those like late night surveys of people outside of bars going like, hey, if you can name like this amount of countries on this continent or whatever, you know, and it's like, whoa, you know, but
our knowledge about the Pope, like, should we know way more about the Pope?
Hey, wait, can I clarify?
Okay.
So you asked me to name the continents.
Oh, he's backpedaling. Okay.
People got mad about it, but it turns out, because I'm sticking to my guns here. So my issue was, while I was naming them, I got to Europe and Asia, and I'm like, I don't think that's 2 continents. So then we looked into it, and so there is Eurasia.
Yeah, there's a Eurasian
So,
continent.
but if you look up the definition of continent, it is a landmass that is unseparated from another landmass by water or whatever. Why is Europe and Asia 2 fucking continents?
'Cause they're
they're
connected?
literally connected. It's the same fucking landmass. So I'm confused. Everyone in the comments was like, "Oh, he's an idiot.
I don't
know
have
Europe
time
and
to
Asia are
explain
2 continents."
geography to you, bro.
But I'm like, I don't think it is 2 continents. I think it's 1.
there's a Eurasian.
No, there is. But if you
Yeah.
ask like kids learn the continents, apparently they learn Europe and Asia are 2 continents, but they are literally connected. And the definition of continent is it can't be.
Did you try Googling why is
Yeah.
Europe
No,
and
It's
Asia?
like
I was more just trying to prove
maybe
my
like
point. But someone called me idiot for that.
Pangea, I don't know, but then Europe, you know.
Do you think there's people that don't like Pangea? There's a lot of people that don't think Pangea is real.
This bitch
Is
don't
this
know
like
about
some, like,
Pangea.
dude, this
I mean, when
should
you
get
look
a-
at the pieces, they kind of
they
fit like a
fit.
little
Yeah,
puzzle.
no, they do.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's people that I don't know what y'all's beliefs are, but there's people that like don't think that like evolution could possibly be real, and it's like there's a lot of evidence that kind of shows that.
Yeah, no.
It's like if your argument is that you believe a giant hand stuck someone here, and that makes more sense to you than evolution, I'm like, I don't know if I can reason
yeah.
with you on this one.
The dinosaur bones were hidden on purpose.
Yeah, like whales have little legs. There's a lot of evidence for evolution, but like diehard.
I have
Christians-
heard about people saying that dinosaur bones like aren't real or like they were planted. I guess.
Yeah.
Can you imagine a world of the dinosaurs, bro?
bunch of cavemen had 3D printers and were fucking making bones and hiding them for us.
But he,
like, yeah, check this out.
But here's what I've always wondered. Like, let's just say cavemen, right, are like, you know, right? And eventually they're, rock.
Yeah. No.
Stick.
There was a bit that you
Like-
did way back in the day. I remember laughing about this probably
I've done
15
lots of-
years
I've
ago.
done a lot of funny shit,
this
yeah.
is this is a. I remember you talking about this in like high school. You were just like, hey guys, this is boring. Let's make some words here.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Why don't you know?
Why do you assume the cavemen speak English? 'Cause, I mean, the British weren't here yet.
Nope.
Where
I
were
mean,
cavemen
All over.
when it was all Pangea?
I mean, they were all over.
They
We're
were-
just assuming everyone speaks English. Just that's yeah.
I mean, do you think they were like, wee? I don't know.
I don't know. what
No,
they-
I mean, what were the but they're
I
saying,
would- Right,
wasn't, like,
I mean,
Latin the
maybe,
earliest
though,
language?
Yeah,
I would
no.
love to watch a video to learn myself, like the history of language.
the House of Learning Doctors.
We can do that tonight, dude. It's out there. I mean, so like they say that like what it's like Africa, Sumeria, like you know the cradle of humanity, but now they're finding like
Cape of Hope.
like caves in France where they're like, and that's where it's like we were kind of talking a little bit about not like directly about this, where it's like it's so interesting where you're on this thought forever. I mean, Pluto's not a planet anymore. R.I.P. Pluto. Where you get you learn. Like you learn all this stuff, and then it's like, oh wait, never mind. We found this cave in France, and it's like 10,000 years before everything. So everything. That's why science is so cool.
Well,
Because it's constantly changing.
everything's. We were just learning what Pat was making this joke the other day. They're like, I was like, hey bro, you want one of those like hydration things? It has like a whole bunch of sodium and stuff, and it was like 1,000 milligrams. He's like, oh, it's like a bunch of sodium. I was like, yeah, it's good though. And I was like, so wait, like back in college though, everyone said like when you ate like the ramen, it had too much sodium in it. Like,
Is it different salt?
Is it sodium?
No, I mean,
good
not
now?
supposed to have a lot of sodium.
So the salt that's in
Bro, those element drinks I
Like
drink have
Element.
1,000 milligrams.
Yeah, it's
in
not good.
No, they're
But they're
they're
so-
all
but they're
saying
good.
like it's great. You want salt.
I shouldn't be talking about this, but I'm pretty sure like if you're in the act of like Gatorade has a lot of salt in it.
If you're sweating.
Yeah, I think if you're
losing it.
sweating a lot, then the salt's good. But if you have too much salt, then it like fucks with your heart and
But
stuff.
you're just like drinking them to drink them. You're like, man, these are salty, they're delicious.
Man, you know.
I always ask like why is there a limit on salt? And
Right.
someone was telling me that it's like a heart. It's like if you have
Well,
any
it's
kind of
so-
heart
it
issues or
soaks up
whatever.
water, bro.
No, but there's also like you're more prone to like heart attacks and stuff. If you have a lot of salt.
Yeah, I
Correct.
mean, like salt, hypertension. That's where you learn. Where it's like it's not even about like ramen doesn't have a lot of fat or anything like that. It was just like you got to really watch your salt. I'm a salty eater, and that's why I'm like, dude, these elements. I get it if you're going
Yeah.
through like a long distance run, you need to
I learned-
rehydrate, but like our salt, like electrolytes.
Joe
or
doesn't
something
even need to
electrolytes.
drink any hydration because he's just salty all the time, bro.
Yeah,
I've learned
That was a
not
good
to
line.
like read into too much of this. Like this is bad for you. This is good to you because it always fucking flips.
yeah. We were
Like
talking about that
reverse
too.
the clock 50 years and like moms were fucking smoking stoves. Kids didn't have a seatbelt on in the back. Like no problem. Hotboxing the car with their kid. And like no one had an issue with it. Now it's like now we know that's bad.
Yeah, but learning is it's always so wild because like, Taylor being pregnant is like all these things of like, I can't have this. Oh, we learned like you can only have this much of this. And I go, I don't think our parents and our grandparents did a lick of that.
Any of that.
Like, I mean, and I guess the thing is like, yes, but we were ignorant to the fact of like, now we have science and like learning all that. But I always, it's kind of like my grandma, RIP, like I think she lived to 89 years old, right? She was born in 1919, lived to 89 years old. Like, I don't think she took a multivitamin one time in her life. I think she smoked cigarettes. But I mean, it's not to say that like that's right, but I always like have a little giggle at stuff like that where we're trying to like I'm like trying to be as fit as possible and everyone's like super healthy and they're like losing their mind if you like, oh man, I had a little bit too much sugar today, like bad. And like you look at 20 years ago.
Well, this might be a little like anecdotal. I don't know if it's because there's just more babies now, like more people have babies.
Yeah.
But the argument's always like, oh, like we learned that smoking while pregnant, there's a higher chance your kid's going to have a disability or whatever.
Right.
But if you look at like history, okay, we've known that's been bad for the last 30 years. Everyone's agreed not to smoke while they're having babies. But we have more disabilities and mental health problems now than we ever did 30 years ago.
It's a food dye.
Right? So like, oh, like don't eat, okay, again, now, hey, don't eat these dyes. 30 years ago, they're eating the dyes and we have more problems now. So I feel like the like eating out of plastic and all that shit's probably more of a problem than like smoking while you're pregnant.
I mean, I can't do anything. I'll be like, guys, look at this amazing meal that I like made with Taylor, and everyone's like, oh my God, Max, are you using a plastic cutting board?
Yeah.
Like I'm like,
I have a plastic cutting board
oh man,
too.
I can't do that. And then I'll be like, okay, I'm like doing this, and like you're using that.
Well, they're saying
thing?
that like microplastics are like our generation's lead.
Yeah, we got them in our balls.
Yeah, everywhere. They're finding them in
It's
like
like our
brains and
generation's
stuff.
asbestos.
You made Charlie
Asbestos.
with plastics.
He's gonna be a strong
Bionic
child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anyone have in the plans? We kind of talked about this. Does anyone in the group have plans for future real estate investment? I actually think when you look at investments and you look at all the gurus, everyone's always like, real estate. I mean, you hear it all over everywhere. Real estate. I actually think that I might not do any real estate.
Is that?
And here's the thing.
Okay.
If person A does real estate, tons of real estate, has 70 properties, person B becomes more financially successful than person A with 0 real estate, is person B a better financial investor or like smarter?
I would say that real estate is something that you can enjoy. Like that's kind of my goal. Is that it's obviously accruing equity. You're getting passive income, as well as you can, if it's in a destination of some sort, you can enjoy it a couple times, as much as you want, really. But they say that nothing beats the S&P 500 either. Like,
But right now, everything does.
Yeah,
Right about now.
but long term, like
Yeah.
it really depends on what your investment horizon is or whatever. But it's tangible. I like the real estate aspect of it, but it's probably a little bit more volatile.
But
So we've been at somebody that we've been flipping houses.
Yeah.
You were supposed to get into one and then never happened.
yeah,
But-
Joe and his dad keeps inviting me to do these real estate investments.
We
and
haven't
they're like,
found
we
the
got
right
one.
one
We
for
got
you,
one. I'm
dude.
like, I'm ready.
But I
And then-
will say that I think it's like really over-stationalized of like when you see it on Instagram. I think a lot of the real estate gurus on Instagram are making more money selling you courses than actually.
For sure.
Because like 10% profit on one of these properties is good. Like that, we're happy with 10 to 20%. And then you get these guys on Instagram. They're like, you can double your money in a year. And it's like, no, you can't. You're not making 100%
Yeah,
on
it's
one.
clickbait.
Here's the question
But
I
I
have.
think they're making more money off of selling these kids like $20 courses. And
Yeah,
they
or
play
just
it off
YouTube
as like,
videos.
yeah, they're like, look at my Lambos. I bought them with real estate. And it's like, no, you
Yeah.
bought
I
them
made
selling
them-
courses to kids
I
about
made
real
it-
estate.
Yeah, I made $1 million on YouTube videos last year, but I made $50K.
But they'll
in
tell
real
you like, oh,
estate.
you do multifamily, you'll make 800% profit. Like, no, you won't, dude. That's
here's the question I have, and it could be like everyone that's selling is just needs liquidity at that time.
Yeah.
But in my thing, let's say you're driving down like where we live, and you see this big like field that's like has a giant for sale sign, and you're like, bro, you could buy this now and like. And you could flip it in a couple years or like build something on it, or here, hey, look at this house that's for sale that you could demo and put a big one. And one little bird that's in my head, I don't know if people can tell where I'm going with this, but like, why wouldn't they just do it? Like, why wouldn't the people selling the land for $1 million that you're like, bro, this in 5 years
Right.
is going to be worth $5 million? Why wouldn't they just not sell it? Does everyone selling something just happen to need the money? Because in my head, if it's like, this plot of land on this corner is like the most prime, like when you see it on Zillow, it's like most prime real estate. That's like, there's gonna be a highway through here. You should build out for retail. It's like, why doesn't the person that just owns it do
They
that?
don't want to deal with the development and shit. A lot of times, like banks will buy up all the land. The bank doesn't necessarily want to develop it. They'll sit on the land for 10 years and then take their money and go somewhere else.
Because in my head, I'm like, everyone's selling it. Are they a bunch of idiots? Because
Or they don't have the money. They don't have the. I mean, just because you own 5 acres doesn't mean you have $30 million to develop it out into a neighborhood or something.
Well, and they probably bought it for maybe their granddad bought it for $100, and
true.
they've already 10x'd, and they just want to move.
I mean, wait a little bit longer,
sent
get
you,
11x.
I've sent you a couple like Max, just $10 million in full share for 10 acres. Like it's right on the like. I don't have $10 million to. I would love to do it. I don't have the money to do it.
I don't think I'm gonna do it.
I think
No,
land,
but it is.
land is great. It's old school though.
You know what I'd like to get? I'd like to get, but I don't know the first. I feel like there's a secret community of people that hoard all this knowledge. Because I mean, I've never tried Googling it, but like a lot of times I'll see like a corner lot, right? And let's get past like let's say it's zoned that it could be this, but I'm always like, man, like a gas station would be great right here. How does one open a gas station?
Bro, there's like, at least in Houston, I've looked into this because Shane wanted me to. It's like a fucking closed garden, dude.
That's what I'm thinking.
It's
Was
like
it like a
4
franchise?
family. No, but so you have to get permits and shit from the city, and like it's not a coincidence that there's like 4 Middle Eastern families that own all the gas stations in Houston. It's like if you're not in that, it's same with like GHRA. It's the same with like this, like these like controlled closed gardens where like if you're friends with somebody, you can get in there. Otherwise, like they're gonna. Like the city will make your life hell trying to get permits and stuff unless like some of
this
these
guy.
families kind of push you through.
So do you think it's overly regulated or corrupt or
Maybe a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we were looking at it and like he was basically like he had a gas station and I could invest into it, but like I couldn't have my name on. Like basically like they didn't want people to know that I was involved in it because at that point it was like more likely to not
That's
go
crazy,
through.
man. So it's not a franchisable model. I've never even thought about that. Like, because
I
we
mean,
were
it
talking
is.
about,
Just depends where you go.
Because a lot of times you're like, it's like I'll be driving down a long stretch of road and I'm like, wow, it's so annoying that there's only gas stations on that side of the road. You'd make so much money if there was a gas station on this side of the road.
Well, I think it's also like someone that, so if Max wanted to start another candy company, it'd be infinitely easier for you than like some random kid that's never done it before. So I think the same with
Well,
like.
no, now they can just copy everything that I've done.
I know, but
yeah.
so with a gas station, like there's all of the EPA shit of like you're putting tanks underground, so you have to get all these like soil. Like I think a lot of that, if you know somebody, you have deep pockets, you can get it done. But as someone just coming in, like you're never like it's gonna take you 5 years to get the permits just to start building the gas
Yeah, but like
station.
how if one of us was like, I have just so much money, I know like I can afford one gas station. I have found a piece of lot. Like, what do you do to be like, how do I get a gas station here?
Well, first you got to decide if you're going to franchise it or do your own thing. Then you got to partner with a fuel provider because you got to buy gas from somebody.
What do you do? I guess it's the same question when someone's like, I want to start a clothing company. How do you do it? And you're like, bro, just Google. Do you think that's what they'd be like?
I
Just
think the
Google
gas
it.
station's a little complicated.
So there's like, there's that train of thought where it's like,
Maybe there's a guru course on it.
because it happened, dude. You'd be like, if you go down like Winterfield or like Huguenot and all that kind of stuff, like it's like Salisbury, about where we grew up and all that. Alex's family kind of lives out there, and we went a different way to pick up some food from somewhere. But I'm like, holy crap, that's the best. There's Sheets there now, and I'm like, dude, oh my god, that's the smartest person in the world. That's the best place I've ever seen for a gas
Here's the
station.
other question: is like when you're like, okay, I can put a gas station here. Like, how do you decide? Like, I want Shell gas, Chevron gas.
Wherever you want to buy it from. They're partnering with them. So they can swap them out. So you'll see sometimes gas stations will switch.
I've seen that.
It'll be like a Time-Wise Shell and it turns into Time-Wise Chevron. It's just they'll partner with the gas provider and buy the gas from them.
If anyone here owns a bunch of gas stations,
We
Yeah,
have
I wanna
friends that
know.
own a bunch.
yeah, but I don't want to open like one of their franchises.
No,
I
but
want
they
to
can tell
open.
you how to do it.
I mean, there's already Fuel Max of 2Xs.
I was gonna say
feel
like Max's gas. Are you thinking about you doing your own thing?
someone has Fuel Max of 2Xs. I might sue them.
Apparently they don't make a lot of money off, just talking to people that own gas stations, they don't make a lot of money off the gas. It's almost all like the concession
All the
shit.
sour strips inside.
So like they
Yeah,
make
no,
a
the
very
gas is
small
just a
amount from
market
the
price,
exactly. It's to
yeah.
get people in the door. You make all
Yeah.
your money off of like the actual merchandise.
Gatorade and stuff.
well, that's the
But like
thing
look
with
at fucking Buc-ee's. That guy's
Yeah.
probably a billionaire at this point.
Well,
Just-
that's why I guess with real estate, it's one of those things like you can't be like, I bought one house and like I'm living large off a real estate investment. It's like you need to have 50 houses and 12 gas
yeah,
stations.
but also
and, like,
sometimes you get lucky and you don't even have to go that deep. So I was talking to this guy. So he works, or maybe he got the contract. Basically, the guy does all the construction for Buc-ee's. So he's only does Buc-ee's construction. He's rich as fuck. And he didn't have to go do his own. Like he's just the construction guy for Buc-ee's, and he's multi-millionaire.
I think the smartest plan is, I think I should just start buying up a bunch of just the land that I'm like, I bet someone's gonna want a gas station here. And then I just wait until I get an email one day that says, I want to put a gas station here. And I'll be like, perfect. Dude, you can rent the land from me.
That's exactly what will happen too.
If you have deep enough pockets to just sit on it and not care, I mean, that's what like Bill Gates and shit do. They buy a bunch of land in like Montana. And
should I buy a bunch of the land that's out by where we live?
If you don't need the money for 5 years, fuck it.
What's your? I mean, it's the same thing as stock. Like, what's your investment horizon? Like, what's your kind of in your head?
I have a lot of different buckets. I have the, you know, JG Gentworth 877 cash now. I have cash now bucket. Then I have 5 year cash that I don't need cash for 5 years, so we can tie it up for that. And then I have like 20 plus year.
So I would just
I got 3 buckets.
I would put the 20 plus year. Just buy the land, put the taxes on direct deposit, like you were saying. Forget about it. Just mentally block it. I don't know.
Especially if we know that like that road y'all drove in is literally turning into West Park. So you know there's going to be a tollway there. So worst case scenario, maybe it takes 20 years, but at some point there's a fucking highway there. And now you own 20 acres on the frontage road. Eventually, you're going to make some money. It's just.
Do you have to put up one of those signs that say like for sale, or is like if you have a desirable plot of land, like eventually someone will just be like, figure out who owns it when they want to build something there, and they're like, I want it.
No, yeah, you'll get a call from a Buc-ee's or a Sheetz or I don't know, somebody who wants to build a mini mall there, and
you develop it yourself. So like our mutual friend that is no longer in this position to do this because of what happened, but. He had a bunch of land and there's a highway running through it, and he was going to develop it himself. So he was going to develop all of it out as like pads and do like big box, like Targets and HEBs and stuff. Like you go out and get them to come to the land, and you make even more money that way because then you're selling the actual like buildings.
Then you could
with the land,
get investors or kind of get
or you build all the buildings and you lease all of it out, and then you're making a shit ton of money every month on rent.
Guys, come back to this episode in 20 years, and I am going to own at least 5 gas stations.
I would say I'm very pro real estate. Stocks is great, but you got to diversify.
You do. I think I might buy some land.
It's number one.
Because
you know what's frustrating?
You can buy dirt. You can't buy more dirt, dude. Like once you get the land,
it's there.
That's it.
Yeah.
I wish it was easier to franchise shit. So like in Fulshire, if you go, the Starbucks is like 8 miles the other way, and it's always a line around the building. I'm like, if someone just opened a Starbucks in Fulshire, they'd make a fucking killing. But you can't. It's not that easy. You can't just be like, hey, I got some land, put a Starbucks on it. Like you have to like partner. It's this whole fucking thing.
Yeah, no, I was telling Max where it's like the same thing as investments where I always buy the entrepreneur thing when I fly, and I look at the franchises, and that's what you like pressed. I'm like, dude, why don't I just open up a press?
I know. I would love to open a Velvet Taco, but they won't let
Fulshire.
me. I would open a Velvet Taco. That's how good it is. I'm trying to take you there.
That's where everything going for lunch.
It's so good that I want to open one, but you can't because they don't franchise.
I would say, but you say that about a lot of stuff though, bro. Like you're like, it's my favorite.
Have I ever been wrong about anything?
But what is your favorite? You'll be like, dude, like, and I love I love that you love something so much, but you can't love everything the best. You'll be like, dude, no, trust me, this is the best. And I'm like, but you said that like 2 hours ago about something else.
Okay, Pat, after you have this Velvet Taco, you're gonna go, bro, that was a good
Velvet Taco is pretty good.
Just like when we came a couple years ago, you're like, dude, Torchy's, they're the best.
Yeah, but
I don't like Torchy's fell off. Torchy's is not good anymore.
The chicken tikka marsala taco from Velvet Taco might be the best taco that has ever been tacoed.
But it's it's
different.
A
No. Yeah, calm down. It's
dude, I would say that.
See, I think we're more aligned. Like a real
purists. That's not a taco, dude.
No. There is a place in Houston, but like traditional Mexican taco, and that is insane.
Like somebody is gonna watch just someone is sitting in like Mexico City watching in here, and you say that, and there's a tear rolling.
No. Velvet Taco is white people taco. It's like the kale rotisserie chicken taco.
Yeah, no,
chicken tikka marsala is not a white taco, bro.
It's good, but it's not like it's not the best taco in the world.
It's a fusion taco, dude.
Yeah.
It is. It's the best taco in the world.
Dude,
think of everyone listening.
Somebody's gonna
think of the best taco you've had and imagine a better taco. That's what this taco is.
That's a really rough take for really some real taco fans out there, dude.
It's kind of like sour strips, the best candy ever.
Undeniable. But chicken tikka.
Shut your mouth.
Chicken tikka taco. I'm gonna eat it. I'll eat fucking 3 of them, but
that'd be a lot of them. They're
pretty big.
Yeah,
you get 3.
They give you a healthy serving. That's why it's such a good taco.
Dude,
they
do the steak and queso, and then a chicken tikka, and then a Mexicali shrimp.
Is all queso in Texas? They just put steak in it?
Yeah, he had never heard it when we were like, "Do you want to get steak or beef in there?" He's like, "You can put stuff in the queso."
I mean, Richmond, we got a pretty good.
Well, hold up. What is queso? What do you call queso?
Cheese.
Yeah, but what is the real name of
what?
You have queso, but chili con queso is fucking cheese with beef. That's what it literally translates to.
Yeah, but that's chili con queso. This is just queso.
I know, but I'm saying, I know, but I'm saying, like, you've never been in a restaurant where it said chili con queso?
Wait, I thought chili is chili. It's carne.
Wait. Do you think chili con queso means beef with cheese.
Yeah. Well, like
I
chili
thought
with.
carne.
Dude, I'm about to.
No. I don't think chili doesn't like translate to beef, but I think doesn't chili have beef in it, like ground beef?
I don't think it's chili in the American like stew kind of Chile or like.
Oh
chilies
wait, is it
or-
like
Chili
oh
is
shit?
first of all, I was like,
Bro.
chili is
Oh, no.
peppers. You
Yeah.
idiot.
Oh no.
Chili,
All right.
chili con queso literally means like
It's like chili.
cheese and chili peppers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was testing y'all. I knew that already.
Joe,
You're thinking of chili as like a
Bro,
pot
God
of
damn it, I
American.
already
Like,
see the
this
comments.
ignorant
Yeah.
American
I know.
doesn't know anything.
right.
You're the one talking about tikka fucking tacos, dude. Like
That's fantastic.
All right. Well, yeah, you can put your beef in your cheese. I always thought that's.
but it's I mean I get queso con carne, but
He was confident with it.
I was.
It was delicious.
Chile. I want to. Yeah.
You know how like sometimes I'll cut stuff out of the podcast. Do you want me to cut that out, dude?
No, it's fine. You can leave it, dude.
Okay, let's get this Q. I like this Q&A, dude. Someone asked, so I'm going through like fighting the HOA. Are you guys
On what? Oh, at the new land.
at the new land?
Yeah.
Are you pro or against HOAs? Homeowners Association. Some people don't have, or like
Yeah.
other countries don't know this about America. Does that mean they should know that about
I don't
America?
think, so I've lived in the same house for 14 years, and I live in a downtown area, a house that's 100 years old. Richmond is, you could build whatever you want.
Yeah.
And I think that you can express creativity and, but also maybe some regulation would be nice. Like if I wanted to paint my house bright pink, I could do it if I wanted.
Joe, explain to the people what HOA is.
Dude, at least in Texas, I don't know everywhere, but HOA is like the most power of. They can put liens on your fucking house. They have a lot to say. I dealt with this in my old house. HOA is basically like your neighborhood. A lot of it's sourced out. A lot of times they'll use like a third
Think
party.
of the kid that got made fun of in high school. They want to
Pretty
be the
much.
head of the HOA.
It basically is what it is. A bunch of people that want to have power that are just basically
Hall
it's
pass
like
or like hall monitor.
yeah, it's like a governing force of fucking people that can tell you what is and isn't allowed in your neighborhood, and they have meetings and they vote on this stuff, so they can say, hey, your grass can't be higher than 3 inches, or you have to have this type of plant in
I
your front yard.
want to give an example of one. When we lived with Joe, the HOA would drive by our house without us knowing. You would get a letter in the mail of a picture of the packages on your front doorstep saying you can't have packages and these need to be removed within like 10 days or you're going to get a fine. So that means someone went by the house, saw the packages that have like maybe been there for like a day or something,
Yeah.
took a photo, went home, printed it out, put it in the mail, mailed it to you. You got the mail and now you have 10 days to get the packages off. And my argument would be like, those aren't the same packages. I got different packages.
Yeah, or what if you're on a vacation? You
Yeah,
don't
but
know,
I'm just like, so if you leave like your trash can out for like an extra day, like they'll take a photo of it, write a letter, put it in the mail, mail it to you. Then you have
I don't
30
like
days
that.
to fix it.
it's too
So
much.
sometimes they go way overboard. However, I do think you have to have some kind of HOA because then, like your other land that you were going to build on, that I'm very happy you're not building on, there's no HOA in there.
That I'm holding, by the way, because I'm a real estate investor.
And what happens
technically a real
is
estate
the
investor.
problem with this is like you build a $3 million home, very nice, and you have a fucking bouncy castle in your front yard, and you're looking at a pink fence because the neighbor next to you has. There's no rule on what
Charlie's
you can and
birthday,
can't do.
he wanted a
No,
bouncy
I'm
castle.
saying like one of the houses in that neighborhood had a fucking trampoline in their front yard, and like nothing you can do about it. That's just
Yeah, but
something
who's
you
to
gotta look
say
at.
you have to have a trampoline in your backyard?
My point is, if I'm building a very nice home, I don't want to look at like tall weeds and fucking trampolines and shit. I want it to look very consistent. That's where the
Yeah.
HOA comes in handy.
No.
But
if it's too
sometimes they go
aggressive,
way too hard.
Wouldn't it
yeah.
be counterproductive? So you saying that HOAs can be outsourced to like
A lot of times
companies
they are,
that
yeah.
are just, but like, but it's supposed to. I feel like it's supposed to be. I would only respect a HOA that's like operated by my neighbor.
So there's
who's lived there for
typically-
30 years and he's
it
doing it
is.
for the benefit.
You
of,
have so that what they do is they'll have somebody in the neighborhood, but they'll outsource like the actual penalties and payments to another. So they'll just forward like, hey, we have this infraction to that company, and then that company's in charge of like collecting it and like coming after you and shit.
And so, like, how deep does like the trouble? Like, say if you're on a vacation and you're just like
It'd be like-
$50
it
fine,
gets to the
like,
point,
rent, like,
so
I'm not paying that.
Here's
Like,
on my account. So
Sue me.
my old house. So if you have a gated neighborhood, the road is part of the community, not the city. So our road had potholes in it and shit. So the minute that's why like, oh, you want a gated neighborhood, but as soon as you do that, now you're responsible for
Yeah.
the actual like public road. So
We're
there was a
basically
bunch
the
of-
Vatican.
Yeah. There's a bunch of potholes in front of my house, and I was getting pissed off. So HOA fees came up, and I'm like, I'm not going to pay them. I'm like, put my foot down. I'm not paying them until they fix the fucking potholes. Because what am I paying these?
To be
know-
fair,
you know you're right.
It's like
You-
a tiny mini economy.
You know
yeah.
your rights.
Yeah.
So anyway, they didn't give a shit. Nothing happened. I didn't pay HOA fees for 2 years. When I sold the house, they put a deed restriction until they got paid. I couldn't sell my house until I paid what I owed to the HOA.
they got theirs.
The state of Texas. Oh yeah. And then they actually took it out of my payment. So
Was
like
that interest bearing too?
No. Well, there's there's fees.
Yeah,
There's
so
fees,
you get late fees.
But yeah, no, that's how far they can go. So like if you don't pay your fees, they literally like, you either can't sell your house or they'll take it out of the sale value. So like if you're owed $200,000 cash at the end, they'll take the $3,000 out of that before it comes to you.
See, I don't like that.
What
They have
happens
a
if I'm
lot
just
of
like,
power.
hey Pat, just wire me the money for my house and I'll give it to you, and they're like, okay,
You can't title it. So I'm saying you have to go through the state to do that. And
I'll
you
give you
can't.
title, dude. Don't worry about it.
HOA's got a lot of power. It's as shitty as it is. Yeah, because they can do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah, see, some people, like when I talk about HOAs, like some people are like, I hate HOAs. I would never want someone to tell me what I can do. But then like I walk dude around the neighborhood and there's like a lot of like fences that got damaged from like the hurricane but like 10 months ago. And they're just like destroyed fences and it's just like, it looks terrible. And I'm kind of like, hey, why isn't this person fixed a fence? Like, why is this fence just like falling apart that I have to like walk past? I'm kind of like, man, I wish the fence would like, it just brings the neighborhood down a little bit.
Dude, the HOA is a tool for the rich and a burden on the poor.
So
That's a good-
So you
Yeah.
need to kind of like regulate the regulations.
Yeah, because the
There needs
rich
to be checks and
typically,
balances
like,
here.
typically it's the only people that care about the HOA are the retired rich people in the neighborhood. Because like you as
They
like a
want everything
working
to
guy,
look
like
good.
yeah, because they have like weekly meetings and shit. Like I don't have time
You're
to fucking
bored.
do all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's typically like the rich people that have lived there for a long time that are like, you got to paint the fucking fence white.
What
You
are
got
they?
to do this.
What are
and
the
that.
HOA meetings like? Agenda.
Oh no, yeah, you never done one? You probably get invited to your house. I get invited all the time. They do Zoom calls, and they'll literally be like, "All right, today's docket is this, this, and this," and then you can bring up any concerns you have, and then they
There's a
vote on
YouTuber
shit.
flying a drone through the neighborhood.
Yeah,
I
no.
would like to ban him.
Is there so like? So do they talk about regulate? Like, can you go there and be like, "Hey, I'm speaking for the younger crowd here. Y'all need to
Yeah,
chill
but they
out."
vote on it. But you can like run. You can try to take it over from the inside out. You
When
can
you
like
say
run
that,
for
like if-
HOA because they have votes.
So is the voting power distributed by age and tenure, or so
No,
like
no,
say if
no.
you got the biggest house in the neighborhood, hey, I got a 60% vote here.
So you can be the president. No, it's not. You basically get elected to be the president of the HOA, and everyone in the neighborhood can vote for it. So technically, like you could go door to door and say, "I'm running for president of HOA," and become
should
the
do
president.
Is that a prestigious title?
For someone that wants the power, I guess.
I'll buy a lot so I can have a vote for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, dude.
Honestly, we could if everyone that we think's moving into that neighborhood moves in that neighborhood, we could take the shit over.
Couldn't you just go and be like, hey, I'll give you $50 if you
I
vote
think
for me?
that's illegal.
For the HOA,
I think for any election.
It's extortion.
I'll hypothetically give you $50 hairs.
That was the whole thing. Didn't
about
Elon get in
the
trouble?
dollars, though?
Didn't Elon get in trouble for like offering like people prizes if they like switched to Republican or whatever?
Oh my God, yeah. It wasn't
Yeah.
even he wasn't even quiet about
Yeah,
it. He's
yeah,
like, I'll just
yeah.
give you $1 million. And even if you just come, I'll just give you $100. Like,
Yeah, I don't think it's legal. You're not allowed to do that.
it happened though.
It did, yeah.
I'm battling it. What I've learned is apparently your rights as a landowner actually trump the HOA's rights.
See, but sometimes it's dumb. So like, what are you fighting with them about?
Oh.
Man, this is gonna sound like some first world problems. This is gonna
Okay.
okay. The HOA is currently blocking our house from getting built because they say that our house is too big. But our argument is basically because they're basically saying like that your house can only be X amount of square footage based on like the lot.
What's that number? I'm just curious.
The time is now.
Just fill
Max
in
said he
X,
wanted to
dude.
wait on this.
Okay,
Oh.
okay.
Oh, you don't have to. It's fine. We'll just X.
I'll say the limit.
It's a big number.
I'll say the limit.
Yeah.
The limit of the thing is 10,000 square feet.
Okay.
But that is based on the lot, and all of the lots are an acre and a half. Our argument is I have 3 lots that are currently being zoned as one 5-acre lot, so the percentage is dramatically lower based on the lot size, right? So it's nowhere near even that amount. So we're kind of saying like, hey, like you can't tell me what I can build on 3 lots that is now one giant lot that your restrictions are for 1 lot. I have 5 acres of land. We're building a beautiful house that will raise the value of everyone's around. All of the other houses are large houses. They're not like a 1,000 square foot like mobile home next to it. It's all of the houses are large. Ours is a grand house it's a beautiful house. Here's the lot. It's a small percentage of the total square footage of the lot size. So the argument shouldn't apply to us.
We met when we were looking at that house in the front. We met the HOA. He seemed like a normal guy. Honestly, maybe just talk to him directly.
Of his new
Yeah, my dad was looking at a house in there.
Like, have you reached out and be like, hey, let's just talk about this?
We met the president
over
of the
some
HOA, and he
chica
seemed like a normal guy. But
or Anthony's.
something that he'll go
Just,
for that.
dude,
Yeah.
just wine and dine him, dude. It's a who you know world.
Something that happened though. So the house we looked at in the front, the guy was complaining. So when he built it, he painted it black. and apparently the HOA forced him to paint it white and said that black houses weren't allowed in the neighborhood.
That's not a good
Yeah,
look.
right? And I was like, that's odd. And I guess he said, well, there's one in the back. And they were like, that's fine because it's further in the neighborhood. But in the front, all the houses have to be the same, up to the standard. They have to be the white.
Yeah, our house is also in the back of the neighborhood that even to get to my house, the only way you'd get to my house and beyond the house is the 20 people that live at the dead end at the end.
Yeah.
So no one else is seeing our beautiful house besides 20 people because you have to drive for 10 minutes to even get to the back of the neighborhood. We're not in the front.
Have you strategized what your plan is if it's just a hard no?
Like, it's just like, I'm going to have to downsize my tree closet.
Yeah, like if he's like,
the movie room's
no.
only going to be able to sit 20 people instead of 50.
I think I'd have to get rid of the gym and...
Really?
What if you just did a separate garage?
Oh, yeah, wait. A lot of people in there have like casitas and stuff. That has to be separate square footage. Can you just do a separate workshop gym?
I think that technically, even if it's disconnected, it can still count as like livable square footage because it'd be like a pool house would still count as total square footage of the house.
Oh.
It's the total area square footage of the home, not necessarily like how much livable space.
Okay,
so
but then you fuck them up, and you take your lot into 2 and 1 and build your house on 1 and build. Now you can do another 10,000 on the second.
Like
fucking
it's
lot.
zoned together.
Well, if you did that, you would have to still be a primary residence on the other one. So you just put a room above it and be like, it is. I rent it to myself for $100.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think it's going to come to that. There's a lot of houses in there that are like right on that fucking edge. I can't imagine they're upset about like, oh, the house is a little too big. Like, who the fuck cares?
Yeah, and I'm sure if I was my neighbors, I'd be like, go for it.
Number one YouTube comment on this and be like, Max, what's the square footage of the house?
Well, we know it's higher than 10.
But here's the thing. It's just the rooms are big.
Yeah.
There's not 12 bedrooms.
No, there's not.
There's not. It's just like, oh, hey, I don't need I have a foyer and a walkway, hallway. You don't need that. It's like, that's just, but it's just for like the aesthetic of there. Yeah, the gym is like the game room, instead of making it like just kind of a lot. I'm like, oh, I want to have like a lot of space in there.
Would you back down? Now that you've got the plans and you've really, it's a beautiful plan.
Never back down.
Beautiful home. But if they just hit you with a hard no, you're like, okay, I'll just make everything 20% smaller.
I don't want to.
I know you don't.
No, there's loopholes here. Because I think livable square footage in Texas is air conditioned. So I think you could potentially build the gym as a garage so it's not considered livable, and then just AC it after the fact, after you get all your permits and shit.
That's a interesting thing.
Yeah, it's like garages aren't livable square footage because they're not AC'd. I don't know what the legal thing is, but I know like a garage isn't considered.
Right.
So you could build the gym as a garage, and then after you close on the house, AC it.
Triple stamp the double stamp.
There's definitely ways around this.
Ipso facto, brand new house.
I can't wait, dude. I'm gonna be texting you every like 3 weeks, be like, dude, I need an update.
And then I'll buy a lot. Pat buys a lot.
I'll buy a lot.
We hostile take over the HOA.
We will, yeah.
And then we get rid of that dumb rule anyways.
That's right. Guys, that was like the Q&A portion. I know we burned through. Q&A was good. I like it. It brings like a lot of random topics.
I liked it until I made a
too.
fool of myself.
Yeah, dude, I can't believe you thought chili was like the soup or the
I don't
stew.
speak Spanish, dude.
You've never had like
No, not at all.
Like not even like
you never had like pollo or carnitas?
Did you always think that chile instead of like or chili or whatever, like instead of
No, I
being
mean
like
now that I think about
like
it,
a pepper?
Yeah, no, I know.
You thought it was always in reference
But I
to
always
the
thought
stew?
that chili con queso was
How
beef with
long
cheese.
have you been an idiot?
I'd say about my whole life.
Hey, you know what I've noticed? Girls don't like degrade other like their friends like guys degrade their friends. What's your views on like if you listened to like conversations of us, like would be like, do they like each other?
I think that's...
Do you think it's just male camaraderie?
I think there's like different kinds of dudes, but you know, I always like, hey, what's up, you asshole? And be like, oh, dude, I love you, man. Like that's, I feel super endearing when like everybody's just, cut me down or whatever. I don't know. But that's just how we grew up.
I feel like you got to break your friends as low as possible to build them back up again.
Yeah.
That's why me and Max got along.
No, it's endearing though.
Like we always talk about that with like Christian was very not like that.
Really?
Oh, not at all.
Whoa.
And then Christian kind of picked up on us doing it, and then he would try, but it would just be like, yeah, Christian would walk in and be like, sup, bitch guys.
Yeah,
It's
no.
like, what, dude?
That's not, it's okay. It's kind of weird. Yeah.
It's bad because it's my first, it's like my first train of thought when like David, with me and Joe, it's like clockwork, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But even when like, sometimes I even think, David's a little better than maybe Christian, but even like to Christian and David, like sometimes like they'll say something and my immediate millisecond response is like making fun of them for something that like what they just did, that like of just doing something.
Just jump on them.
And I'm just like, oh, that's just like how I've always been.
Yeah, no, I mean, just like you
But
said,
then they
like,
kind of look
you know,
sad, and it's like,
But here's what I think about it.
It's
too
just
far.
different though. Like,
I can tell. I was saying this the other night. Like I feel like you're not going too far because the friends that you're like dogging on all the time, like they still want to hang out with you enough for years and years and years. So like that they've accepted.
Yeah, but it's also like I mean, you guys are like the same, but like there's like for me, it's like a tenure thing where it's like I've got really close friends in Richmond that if I were to just like immediately give them shit, they would be like, dude, like. You just hurt my feelings.
Like if you were gonna go, like I feel like you got to build up. Like for example, in the very near future, I'm gonna go play golf with my brother-in-law, Taylor's brother. Really, really like him, and like the first time we're like really like broing out. I'm excited, and
I feel like he'll be cool with it.
We've built that relationship enough. Like I feel like I'm confident enough. Like because he talks about how he's like bad, just like me. We joke about it.
Yeah.
But like if he like swings and misses, like my first thought would be like, bro, you are fucking terrible.
Yeah, just bust his balls.
Yeah, but I'm like, I feel like you have to get to that threshold with someone.
Do, yeah. But
no, I don't think so.
You just come out swinging.
I mean, I think the first words out of your mouth, I can't repeat them, but yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think,
No, for sure. But
like Lake Tahoe, you came out swinging. I was like, here I am. I thought this guy was a huge doucher. Turns out he's not a doucher.
Just one of the guys.
Yeah.
Well, that's
just
what
guys being dudes.
When I moved to Texas, now we can kind of bring this little intro here.
Yeah.
Is I referred to Joe as the Texas Pat.
Yeah.
And Pat is the Virginia Joe. And it all makes sense because we make fun of each other a lot. We get along, bond a lot.
Yeah.
Y'all are both super tall, lanky. And so it's like, that's why as soon as I met Joe, I was like, bro, me and Joe are going to get along great.
Yeah. No, I remember you texted me that and all that kind of stuff. And then like, was it like comments on IG or whatever that they were like, oh my God, like Virginia Joe, Texas Pat, all this kind of stuff? Was that like was that something that you coined or just like it just
I think so.
Yeah.
I think I did.
It was a prophecy that we had to be on the pod together.
Dude, yeah, no, for sure.
This is a long time coming.
I mean, they say you're an average of the people that you're around. Feeling pretty good right now.
This is a good average.
Yeah.
I have a question for you, tall folk, because how tall are you without lying?
Dude, should we we can take off our shoes. I don't know if it, I
feel
we're
like
going to be out of frame.
Y'all are already tall, and I feel like tall people still like lie and add like an inch or something.
I think with my shoes on, I'm 6'5".
Why do you say it? Just say what height you are.
Because I've never I don't know.
I would say I used to say 6'4", and then when I actually got measured, it was like 6'3 and a half, 6'3". So I just say 6'3 now because you'll get called out, and be like, you're not 6'4", dude. I'm like, well, okay.
I think
whatever.
Okay. Now, as an over 6 foot guy,
Well, I'll say something that does happen to me a lot is I'll meet people like at the gym and stuff. Like some guy the other day at the gym.
you play basketball.
No. He was like
Volleyball.
He was a little shorter than me, and he's like, "Oh, like you're tall." I'm 6'6". I'm like, "No, you're not."
Bro, 6'6", tall.
Same with guys who are like, "I'm 6'1". I'm like,
So how do you feel? It happens to me like once a month, maybe.
Yeah.
And you'll be somewhere, you'll be Target, we're walking around, and you'll like go into another aisle, and there's like a 6'9" dude.
Oh, I
and you're
hate
like,
it.
oh my God, dude, is this how everyone else feels?
Yeah, oddly enough, I don't know what they're eating at the fucking Ford dealership, but like all three, the manager and the two sales guys at the Ford dealership I get my trucks from are all like 6'7", 6'9", and 6'10".
Yeah.
And when I go over there and talk to them, I'm just like standing there like looking at them talking.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is how it feels.
Is
This is how Max feels all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing that I do, and tell me, do all people that are shorter than you, if you were ever out somewhere and there's someone that is clearly much taller than you, do shorter people always go, bro, look how tall he is?
I don't think we're at that level.
It's right on the cusp.
Like if I see someone and I'm like, bro, Joe, he's taller than you, bro.
Yeah, so I think over 6'6", you're like freakishly tall. 6'2" to 6'5", I just think like you're like, I don't think people look at me like, oh, he's tall. I think it's just like, oh, it's, you know.
But I'm sure you still get that comment from time to time, like, whoa, tall guy.
Yeah.
Well, here's what I want to get to.
But not weird tall.
As
You
a,
don't be freakishly tall.
as a member of the under 6 foot community, there's a lot of us. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm 5'10", actually, which is an inch above average.
Short king,
Yeah.
dude.
Inch above average.
love our
Christian maintains he's 6 foot, and I'm like,
I think he's 6 foot.
I think
He's taller than me.
5'11".
Well, so if you're 5'8", the average for a man, I believe. So if I'm
Is that world average or U.S. average?
I think U.S. 5'9". So 5'10", I am above average in a lot of ways. Okay,
Yeah.
and under average in a lot of ways. But we look at the 6 foot up community and we're jealous. Okay, we're jealous of you guys because we can never.
Yeah, you can't
but
get it.
here's
You can never get this.
There's two things that you should be as an over the 6 foot person, and y'all are neither of them, and it offends us. Okay?
Let's hear it.
And I'm speaking for
I
the
know where
under
it's
6
hear
foot.
going. I know where it's going.
If you are over 6 foot,
Yeah.
6 foot, it's kind of like, all right, like chill, you're barely there, okay? But like 6'3", 6'4",
Yeah.
you're basically giants to us. You either need to be an athlete of some sort or jacked. And if you are not one
don't
of
think
those,
you need to do either
if
of
you
those.
are not one of those two things, to us, you are wasting your height. Because if I had your height, I would be an athlete
You say that.
or jacked.
See, I think if anything, the opposite of like if you're tall, you don't need to be an
No.
athlete
Yeah.
because you're tall. You just get away
Because
with
if you're
it.
an athlete, hear my thought out. If you're an athlete, you know, you're balling out, dude, whatever. Like
Yeah.
you're everyone loves you. You're making tons of money.
Oh, you mean like professional?
Yeah.
You
Professional.
think every guy over 6 foot has to be a professional athlete?
You
Not-
have a
it's
better
6'4".
you have
Okay.
you have a
Yeah.
better chance than me at 5'10".
Do you realize, Max, that I would be like the shortest guy on an NBA
I'm just
team?
saying you have a better chance
Like
than me.
most of the point guards are taller
You have a
than
better
me.
chance than me. And number
Yeah.
two, you should be jacked because as a tall guy, not only if you're tall and jacked, no one messes with you.
No one already
period.
messes
Yeah, I was gonna say I've never been messed with ever, or put myself in a position to be messed
if
Like
with.
if
you
we
walk-
walk out of a supermarket and there's like a child predator out there, like they're probably gonna grab you before they grab me. They're looking at you thinking that's nice.
No,
Yeah.
No one's looking at me like, oh, I'm gonna steal
but
that
if,
guy.
Like if you walk down like a dark alley or something,
No one's going after the 6'5" dude.
how much do y'all weigh?
225.
Exactly, actually,
See, if
223,
over
24.
6 foot. If you were, imagine if y'all were just. But here's the thing.
Do you know how much fucking food I
are-
would have to eat 8,000 calories a day just to maintain
Why
that size?
aren't-
See, that was going to be my first point. Like The Rock, it was like, we worked out for a long time. Before you kind of really took off on the fitness thing, man, we'd always go to the Y, we'd always go to Golds and stuff like that. Do you think I lifted? I ate my macros. We did all this with Tom and
You
all
didn't
this kind of
commit.
stuff.
You didn't
I
commit.
know I didn't commit.
I think you gotta
dude.
get on drugs.
Dude, I was never doing like 2 plates on the bench or whatever, but I got up to, the 60s on the dumbbells and all this kind of stuff. I felt strong. I could do,
But here's the problem.
I don't want to take it away from anyone that is natural, but I would say if you're over 6'3", 6'4", and you're fucking jacked,
And you're over 200 jacked?
you're probably not natural.
Correct.
dude, it's so hard to put on mass.
But here's the thing.
mean,
If
you'd
I
be-
was over 6 foot, I'm very like I don't take any gear.
Get on drugs.
If I was y'all,
Look,
and
the
I was
minute-
220, I would be on TRT,
Yeah.
and I would be so swole that if someone just looked at me wrong, they'd be afraid that I'd smack them across the room, bro.
The minute that I have a baby,
Okay.
I'll get back on TRT because I was on TRT for a while.
Really?
Oh yeah, dude, it was nice. A lot of energy. Hair started falling out.
Yeah, definitely don't want that.
Yeah, no, that is a side effect. But like, dude, I was benching like 245. That was like the heaviest I've ever
Don't they
been
say?
able to bench on.
But
Fucking.
isn't there other problems with like?
It makes your balls smaller.
I was gonna stay around like you get like a lot very aggressive.
That makes your junk look longer. though.
Exactly, right? What was that, Rich Piana or whatever? Like, who wants big balls? You want,
I mean, what if girls are into big balls though?
So the biggest issue
No
for
one's into big
me
balls.
is it messes with your fertility. And as somebody that really wants a kid in the next couple years,
no,
that's why I
but
got off of it.
Can't your like brain swell and stuff on like
I
gear?
don't-
You know what else can
well,
swell?
that's not
Your
gear,
muscles,
though.
bro.
Testosterone's
Why?
not.
But who are you looking to impress? So this is a good question.
Okay.
As,
Other
as,
dudes.
As your life,
Other dudes.
as your life shifts and you go through these, I can understand a 20s or a 30s. I want to be impressive. I want to be looked at. It's like I want to impress. But you've got nothing more to impress. Obviously, you have a community, you've got social media and all that, and personally. But it's like your one thing that you keep saying is, man, if I just was 6'4" and jacked, nobody would mess with me. Who is messing with you? Where's the trauma here?
Fucking HOA, dude.
I don't go looking for trouble, dude. If I was to walk down,
He carries mace.
like I do carry. What's your thoughts on that?
I think if you're over 6 foot, you can't carry mace.
Pat? If I walk around the neighborhood at
Yeah.
nighttime and I have a little bottle
Thing of mace.
of spermicidal lube, no, a little bottle of mace, do you find that what to Joe would be called feminine? Because so if someone was coming at me, I'd go,
That's a rainbow move right there, dude.
but I wouldn't do it
I'm
like
getting around it.
I do it manly. I'd go, get away from me, and I'd spray them.
You're gonna
Keep in mind, we live in Texas where you can legally carry a gun.
Yeah,
with
no.
a gun,
So-
I'm too afraid.
I do the desk pop. You're gonna do a desk pop.
Yeah.
with guns, dude. Like I have one, but I'd be afraid to use it, like unless like someone broke my house, because then I'd be afraid, like I'd be like, wait.
I could never. Yeah.
Can I gotta call my lawyer. Is
Yeah.
he doing
Well, they're
something?
gonna sue you for
Am I gonna
mace,
get in
too.
trouble? No, they're
Yeah,
not gonna
but
sue-
it's
Yeah, they will.
different.
It's still an assault.
That's assault, brother. But
That's assault, brother.
I would rather get a charge for wrongly macing someone than wrongly
No,
shooting
because if
someone
you
in the
shoot them,
face.
they can't fucking say what happened.
What is going on in like? What are you? I don't think it's feminine to carry mace.
Thank you.
whatsoever.
Kind of.
You see,
little bit.
Virginia Joe
What
is
is
way
A
nicer.
knife or a gun. Mace is
But what, he's
that's
just
a
magically
girl.
walking around?
No. I mean, he's not carrying the fucking mace.
Don't.
I just don't. What color is your mace? Is it teal?
It blends in. It's black. No,
It's blush.
All right. Yeah, right? Is it the pink?
no, Taylor has a pink one.
I'm sure she does. That's fine
No,
for her.
Alex gives me a taser when I go out on late.
I would
walks or
argue a
whatever like
taser's
that.
cooler.
No,
But
taser, you have to get
it's in the
close to
shape of a
someone.
little teddy bear.
All right,
It's
never mind.
super cute, dude.
All right.
Guys, I'm just saying that y'all could be jacked and admired by everyone.
But I only seek
Okay.
approval of like 4 people.
We approve of you.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Look at that.
Like,
Yeah.
Like,
Okay,
approve of you
here,
too.
I'm
Now
gonna
we
break
got-
this down for you, Short King.
But y'all don't even,
hold on.
y'all
hold
don't
on.
even want to
Here,
be.
hold on.
Y'all don't even want to be jacked.
Okay,
I
one.
want.
Okay. One.
Sure, I'm not sure.
All you're trying to do is impress other dudes. And as somebody that is in the car community, I understand your pain. Because you think in your high school you're going to get jacked and pick up chicks. In reality, it's a bunch of fucking 16-year-old dudes at the gym. They're like, Max, you look really good.
Yeah.
Correct.
Same with cars, right? Oh, I'm going to get a Lambo and pick up chicks. 13-year-old boy is the only thing that's fucking give me thumbs up in my car. No
That's
girl
also
gives
true.
2 shits about cars.
Yeah.
2, I think you're upset because when you're tall, like you're thinking, oh, if I was jacked and tall, I could pick that chick up, right? All of this boils down to getting laid.
I'm married, by the way.
Yeah, but when you were younger, turns out funny dad bod works way better than being jacked.
Yeah,
No girl's
also,
like, oh, jack
like,
tall guy. It's like you're
Quiet
funny.
guy in the corner's always been
Right.
my,
Yeah.
you just don't try.
Okay.
Quiet confidence.
3, as a tall member,
Mm-hmm.
all right, we would like to tell you, Short Kings, that we can see your bald spots. So worry about that a little bit more than us being jacked. All right. I'm
Yeah.
looking down. I'm looking at the top of your head at all times.
Why don't either of you want to be jacked?
I do. Again, it comes down to like, I don't think it's very rare unless I was eating 10,000 calories a day on some strict ass diet.
You do
I
not
have
need to eat 10,000 calories.
How do you think you
Like,
maintain
dude,
250 pounds?
I'm sure there's like so like
4,000?
it's like
For
it's
me-
like
I mean, for me to be
exponential.
jacked.
I mean, what like The Rock came out with some stuff. He eats like I eat like 3 pounds of tilapia a day or something like that. It's just a lot to eat. I mean, like
This is like the powerlifting guys that like, oh, you're the strongest guy in the world. No shade at Russell, but he's
Don't
fucking,
watch your words.
Same with like Brandon and Russell used to work out with us, and like it was sick. You'd see him benching 400 pounds, but also the bar's moving 2.5 fucking inches when they bench. I have to move the bar 3 fucking feet when I'm benching. It's a little bit different.
Russell's gonna do. He's gonna go.
I'm not saying it as a slight. I'm just saying like I don't think people understand like when you're tall, every
It
movement in the
requires-
gym.
yeah.
I would have to eat 8,000 calories a day and be
That
working
means
out
you're
like
getting
3 times.
such a better stretch. Than
And
I
like
ever
my
could.
muscle's so much longer that like for my arm to
Yeah,
look
no, I
jacked,
mean,
it's a
for
lot
real, dude.
more. I don't think you understand. I'm not saying it's not possible, but I think I'd have to be on heavy drugs, and I don't want to do that.
I have told Taylor that I basically said, this is kind of like a blanket statement, but it's, I would say, 85 to 90% accurate. If you see someone who is 6 foot or taller and over 200 pounds and looks pretty like ripped or like very muscular, there is a 98% chance that they're on gear
At least TRT.
because it is difficult
yeah,
to be
no.
y'all
I
size.
got frustrated in my early mid 20s. Doing all kinds of stuff. It turned out that I like cardio more, but it's the same kind of thing. But it's not really a height thing. But just like, it's not to say that I lack discipline, but to count that amount of macros and all that kind of stuff, it's just time consuming.
And we're prone to more shit. Your back hurts.
Dude, yeah. But like it's also being in like marathon shape all the time.
Yeah.
It's just the amount of rules and stuff. It's just I applaud you for how structured you are with nutrition and gym and all that kind of stuff. But I just remember taking it super seriously for years, and I'm like, man, I look good, but I don't look as good as the guy that's like 5'8" and putting the same amount of effort as
5'10".
Well, I'm not talking about you strictly. I'm talking about more arbitrarily. But it's just so much work, dude.
Yeah, y'all should just give up on fitness altogether.
No, I'm
honestly.
telling you, the minute I have a kid, I'll hop on gear. I'll get huge.
That's
Were
the
you
worst
ever
way to
huge?
think about it.
No. I mean, I was like somewhat in shape when I want to say when I was like 18, 19. And then when I was on TRT, I started kind of leaning up a little bit. And then now that I've got off, I just don't give a
Right.
shit. Now I'm just very like,
Joe was blasting gear for a while, guys.
I can
blasting gear.
I can understand where you're coming from. It's like, your height is such a waste unless you like.
It
but
is. I'll die on that hill.
I'm very opposite though of like, so if right now, or not right now, but Monday after work, someone calls me like, hey, let's go grab a drink or whatever. I'm like, fuck yeah. Where Max would be like, well, I got to work out. So I'm not going to go to that because I got to work out. I'm very much like the gym is the first thing that I'm like, I'll
Yeah.
go tomorrow. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, no. I mean, I'm in the middle.
I know, but I'm
Wrong
saying
way to
like
think about
that's,
it, Joe.
I know.
How
Because health
often
is the
do
biggest
you,
thing, right?
How often do you lift weights per week?
Right now, like 2 times a week.
See, I'm worse than that, dude. I'll maybe once every couple of weeks.
I still
I'll just
got,
get on
dude.
there.
I'm doing like the little 531 app. Like
You're doing Jim Windler?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I did like 190 on bench for 3 the other day. I think I could still do 225 for 1.
Yeah, you're way stronger than me, dude.
Like I think I could if I needed to do.
Why are you only working out twice a week?
It's just honestly, I don't want to like blame it, but like I get off work at
Oh my God.
5,
Joe.
and then there's so much traffic in Fulshire right now because of the road construction that like it takes so long to get to the gym.
Joe,
and then
when
it's so busy.
when I was working 9 to 5,
I'm not saying
and
I
making
can't.
4 YouTube
Okay, all right.
videos a week, and starting and running Ever Forward by myself, I still worked out 5 times a week.
I think I'm missing the because I was
miss
doing
me?
the same
Just say
thing.
it. Just say you
I was
miss
gonna
me.
say I was doing the same thing when I lived in Houston and I worked out with you. I think now that I'm working out alone, I have less of like a. If you text me, we're like, "Hey, bro, let's go work out." 100% I'm in. But I
Pat-
think by myself, I'm kind of like, I
Pat,
don't
with
really
that
wanna go.
comment,
Right.
what I've learned over the years, I think that I'm glue in a lot of attributes and friendships that I
Yeah.
have, where if you don't have this glue, if you don't have Max's glue,
Well, when you say like
you fall apart.
working out quickly turned into like your thing, you know, you're known for it.
Do you think working out is my thing? Do you think fitness is my thing?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say right now, but in the early years, you know, you got some older followers here that, or people that have been following you for a while. But yeah, I mean, you made fitness was your thing.
I'd say
know,
you're a
you
fitness YouTuber.
You're a fitness YouTuber.
I would say, yeah.
And then you're a fitness clothing company owner. You now are, you're a man of, many skills now.
Many skills.
Yeah, but it was your OG thing. It's kind of baked into you. You know, like if you, it's a part of your brand. So like if you were to just kind of like fall off and you gained a bunch of weight,
would never.
I know that, but
Never.
it would hurt your brand if you were not peak physical condition. But
Yeah, if I wasn't just jacked out of my mind like I am now and perfect 2% body fat.
Look, I'll commit to this. When you open the Candyland gym right next to my house, I'll ride my golf cart every day. I'll
if
drive
the
my little
HOA
golf
lets
cart
me.
over and we'll work out. Or if you just go to the other gym with me, I'll go.
So, yeah, whatever, dude.
Working out alone sucks. I feel
it
bad
does,
for-
dude. I
it's
mean,
not-
I like running by myself. That's
I
why
do it all the
just
time.
like, but
It's not fun.
I put some
especially
Metallica
as,
in there.
As somebody that's trying to like increase the weight that I'm lifting, it's very hard.
I say
by
this
yourself.
to Alex all the
Yeah,
time.
but Joe, bro, if you're trying to go on the dumbbell press from like 20 pound dumbbells to 30 pounds, bro, like I'll be there to motivate
I'm saying
you.
I'm not like setting a PR. Like I need somebody that's like, you got this. You got like,
Well,
let's
it's just
go.
fun.
When I'm by
Like,
myself, I'm like
for me
all
when
right.
it was like in college, it's just something you do with the boys. You wake
Guys.
up, you go hit the gym, you guys go get lunch. But now it's like, I mean, I'm alone a lot.
Hey, this is a good time for me to. It's deeper than the gym. Sometimes you can't rely on others to push yourself,
dude, you're right.
and you need to find the inner motivation, because sometimes in life, you're not going to have anyone else, and you have to deep
should be
inside
charged for
yourself.
this shit.
You got to live deep beneath your clothes, beneath the man, into your nucleus.
The nucleus.
I don't know what you're saying.
Listen, okay.
Please tell me.
Look, I know this pod's kind of getting long, but I want to briefly. So
We just let him run, dude.
the intro, yeah,
up?
the
He's a peacock. He's
the
gotta fly.
intro is Pat here is my longest. I would consider you the friend that I have been friends with for the longest period of time that I still maintain a friendship with. Like you trump
Yep.
everyone else like by a large amount of time.
Yeah.
we
Old
became
head.
friends in.
Middle school, maybe 9th grade.
I think
ago.
I was in 10. I want to say. No, it probably when I was on freshman. You were like
Yeah.
a sophomore.
Yeah.
We started being friends, and we went to college
Skating.
together,
Skateboarding,
skateboarding,
doing
got
jeeps, got into
all
off-roading
sorts of
together.
shit.
Yeah.
And then we like moved, and we kind
did.
of split up. But like we've maintained our friendship for
Decades, dude.
like literally
Yeah.
my longest
Yeah.
friend
It's insane.
that like
awesome.
is still like a super core part of my my group. Pat, in your perspective, when I started doing the social media thing,
Yeah.
what did you think about that?
I thought it was awesome, man. You know, but because we would catch up or whatever. But you were working at, what was it, the recruiting firm that like everybody was working
Yep.
at first. And I remember, you got laid off.
Fired.
Yeah.
Yep.
What was it for? You were like doing something.
I got fired for in the middle of a Dave Eaton video. I had a 7-second clip where I set my phone up and I drank a Diet Coke and ate a sour gummy worm and said nothing and had a 5-second clip. And then they then like a week and a half later, they pulled me in the back office and said that you were filming in the office, which I was, while wearing a button down that had no logos on it against a wall that had nothing on it. You had no idea where I was. I could literally have said, how do you know that was here?
Yeah.
And they said that was my warning. And I go, okay, I'll never do it again. Deleted that video. And then a week later, they pulled me back in and said that they found a video that was older than that video where I happened to accidentally flash my ID badge, which showed where I worked. This is on my 480p camera at the time, and they said that I should have scrubbed all videos of the company, and they have to let me go.
Where were you work? Like some science lab or something?
No, it was
like
like a
fucking working on
recruiting
COVID in there.
I was working at Apex.
Literally everybody
recruiting
worked at Apex,
firm.
like out of college.
And they fired me.
Yeah.
But I think it was because I used to curse. I used to curse heavily. I used to drop F-bombs like every third word.
See, that
in my
makes
videos.
me like feel like comfortable.
Yeah. But anyway, they fired me. I thought my life was over.
But that's what I mean. So you like when we were not only roommates, we were sharing a room for many years.
Yeah.
And so to watch, and you were always like in YouTube before YouTube was even a thing, man.
Yeah.
I remember you watching all the OG YouTubers, man. And once you like really started taking fitness super serious, I remember you had doing your hey Pat, take this picture of me against this white wall, dude. I want to watch my track my gains or whatever. And then to watch just the exponential success, dude, from far away, was incredible. Like obviously I missed you a lot when you moved to DC.
Yeah.
And you became very busy, but dude, holy crap, man, when you watch that arc, and it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
And then when you're moving to Texas, I'm like, well, dude, I can't even hop on a train or come up to your show and hang out with you, dude. But but to know that you've met a Texas Pat and be like, oh, dude, you're still the same dude.
Yeah.
And it's that kind of friendship that you can just pick up right where you left it. Doesn't matter if it's 3 weeks or 10 years.
I think that's important.
Super important.
And I hinted on earlier, but so Pat and I used to really get into we were in the peak of our off-roading era in high school and stuff. Was Pat and I, and he started with an Xterra, and then he eventually got into a Jeep Wrangler, which is very similar to the white Jeep Wrangler that I built.
Yeah.
And so all day, every day, we were working on Jeeps and shit.
Pirate 4x4.
And
awesome.
So as much as I document my life, I was documenting building my Jeep with photos on forums.
Yeah.
I was spending all day, every day, even more time than I am on Robinhood now on Jeep forums, mallcrawling.com. Najka, these Grand Cherokee forums, Pirate 4x4.
Dude, you were even on the Xterra forums.
Yeah, Xterra forums.
VA Xterra, whatever. Yeah.
And so I was hardcore into that. And then how did you get into the wallet? And you also do woodworking. I don't know how to describe it.
The woodworking was more of just I just went to Lowe's and I wanted to make a coffee table. And the wallets is the same thing. There's a brand called Tanner Goods. They make a fantastic just veg tan leather wallets. But there's a couple out there, like Billy Kirk's one of them. Filson does good stuff. But I had a really nice wallet and I lost it in Spain. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to learn how to, build stuff.
Make it.
Yeah. So the woodworking thing came more through COVID. I just binged it, wanted to get really good at it. My father-in-law, really, really impressive woodworker. So I want to kind of impress him. But the leather stuff was just, it just kind of took a mind of its own. I never really expected it to scale in the way that it did. It just, I wanted to make it for me, and then some friends wanted it, and then, hey, dude, your brand is pretty cool. You should get. I was doing a simple Squarespace, and then that scaled, and then obviously all the you get trademarking, and you get LLCs, and then it's I switch over to Shopify because I'm doing too much volume, and I want more. So then, but I got into it because I lost this one Tanner Goods wallet in Spain, and I'm like, I'll just learn how to make it.
And then you opened in Richmond, Virginia, in Carytown, at the top of Carytown, you opened a physical store.
Yep.
Why did you want to open a physical store to sell stuff in your business versus just going online?
It was more of, it was a little bit of a windfall from my mother's passing, and just being like, man, I'm young, so what do I do with some cash?
Yeah.
I trusted myself a lot, but obviously I'm like, I don't want to.
You could have started a gas station, but you opened a
Yeah, so,
store.
And it was just like, I'm just going to kind of bet on myself. This is scaling well. Let's just see how this goes. I don't really know, but I know that I take things just like you, even, you're even a different level than me, but I just take things very seriously. I feel comfortable betting on myself, and so just put the cart in front of the horse for a few years. My brother helped me, and so we just did this thing, and it was really scary because we opened up 2 months before actual lockdown.
Nice. Good
Yeah,
timing.
yeah. And then the kind of George Floyd protests hit Richmond pretty hard. And I remember a day we went into the store and just destroyed it. We took out all the expensive stuff. We just took like stacks of papers and threw them all around, pushed over like chairs
so
and
it
stuff
looked
like that.
like-
Yeah, like somebody had already.
Really?
Yeah.
Because was it happening all over the city?
Yeah, no, dude, like Swarchild's Jewelers and all, like 2 jewelry companies, 2 prior businesses that had to close during COVID.
So
dude.
people would like look in and be like,
Yeah,
not this one. It's already been.
It's already been hit. Yeah,
Really, man, it's really cleanly hit too.
yeah.
Someone did a good job.
Yeah, right. But there's no broken glass either. That's weird. Yeah, but I don't know, man. But it just, I'm sure a lot of people on here will be, they'll be maybe familiar with a brand or a company called Need Supply. That went under during COVID, and I just saw an opportunity. That's what, with us being together, you've always been on kind of a fitness side, but always been more on like the men's clothing side. I remember you used to give me a pretty hard time for dressing nice.
Yeah.
Back when you were just a
Loser.
t-shirt, plaid shorts, reef sandals guy,
I did wear a lot of plaid shorts from like
Yeah.
American Eagle.
plain white tee.
Yeah,
you know?
I would wear a t-shirt under my shirt.
You ever had the belt, like the yarn belt? You like
Oh
pull it
yeah.
tight?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it was the
Dude.
best. The
Yeah.
fabric one.
Yeah,
Because you would get it for free with the shorts. You'd always have to be tightening that.
Big cargo
Yeah.
guy.
No, yeah. I mean, but you'd always just kind of give me crap. You're like, oh, Pat, you look really nice today, man. Like, but so I've always just had this dream of having like this kind of men's store. It's a kind of unrepresented market in Richmond. It's kind of a drought for men's shopping, and Need Supply was a few blocks down for me. So, but I as soon as they closed, I saw a pivot, and it's been doing quite well. I'm feeling really blessed. Very, very, because it's kind of interesting. I mean, you're kind of, even though like a big bro, kind of you inspire me a lot, with all this kind of stuff, scaling business, take it serious. You're only going to get one shot. If this closes up, you're not going to start another men's clothing store.
Right.
Like you obviously you had that. So just trying to keep my foot on the gas, dude, and really enjoy the process.
And so you shifted from just doing leather goods to essentially turning your store into like a boutique of a lot of brands that people maybe didn't know about, right?
Yeah, it just the like where the price point is. It's just there's so many good companies that are made in like I'll just shout out Portuguese flannel. We do so well with them. They're made in Portugal. It's a family-owned operation, and the product sells itself. But it's really hard to find, and it's still in this like $150. Wearing a shirt right now, love it.
That's Portuguese flannel?
Yes, sir. But like brands that are hard to find, that don't cost $700, because Richmond's it's an odd town. The price point has to be good. It can't be too LA or Miami, but it can't be too prep either. So there has to be like this balance. It's interesting. So that's how I shifted. Yeah, I got into the men's clothes, but it wasn't gonna scale. Like even when we did the wallet drop, the collab, that killed me, bro.
Yeah.
Like it took so long because I'm hand making everything, and I'm like, well, dude, I mean, I can't do this forever. You know, so I'm
hard
gonna
to scale,
have to sell. So
diversify.
I gotta make that the kind of the bread and butter. That's the cherry on top.
Well, so we launched these wallets, which, by the way, if any of you guys have like a Costanza wallet where like your wallet is like this thick,
Yeah, I gotta go card holder.
you really only need like 5
you
to
have a thin
7 cards.
I have the Apple one. Like snaps on the back. It's very thin.
You just need like a couple credit cards, not a debit card, ID and whatnot, but like your wallet should be like super thin. And we launched these wallets, which you can't get the Ever Forward ones, but like if y'all, so obviously I'll have all your like businesses down below, but if like the craftsmanship on these leather goods of these things, like if y'all in the market, you definitely should check them out. Like, and how much you charge for these?
They're like 75 now.
Yeah,
maybe
it's
70.
handmade and just like top tier quality. So like definitely check out all the stuff you've done, but it's cool seeing like a lot of our friends do like entrepreneurial stuff.
Yeah, it's not easy, dude.
No.
Yeah, and that's where I'm really getting to it. And as it's scaling, where I was there Thursday through Sunday, but now getting into the menswear stuff, where man, you got to do a lot of just emails. It's a lot you packing orders and shipping and all this, dude. Like from start to finish, dude, it's not easy at all. It's crazy.
And Pat or Joe, man, basically the same thing.
Yeah.
What did you think of all my Virginia friends when you met them at the bachelor party? Because before
cool
I was
dudes.
like, I got my Virginia friends, I got my Texas friends. Now they're going to unite.
Yeah.
I think they're going to get along well because I choose the circle's good circle, good people.
Yeah, so I met Daryl before, but that was the first time I met Pat. Pat's cool
Yeah,
dude.
no, I was here like the couple times we were here before.
Yeah.
it was like, damn, Joe's and
Honestly, they're
Austin's
all pretty much, so like my friend group was before I met Christian, all of my friend group was just people that talk shit and get drunk together.
I love it.
That was it. So when I met all of Max's old, it's like all of these guys, like Tom, great dude, wild motherfucker.
Yeah.
But like, I think I got called like 4 slurs the minute I walked in the house. And I'm like,
That's
all
how
right,
you know.
we're gonna get along.
Yeah,
This is
we're the
good.
boys.
Yeah.
I think South Park was on. I'm like, all right, great choice.
Yeah. The whole time we were there, which is South Park. So yeah, no, all good dudes.
I just choose we just good bros.
Yeah.
I think it's like bros being bros, and when you have good friends and like you kind of like I get along with this person so well, so you know like all of their core friends, like all right, if they're still friends with them and like I'm this way with them, like we're probably all gonna get along super.
I would
well.
say out of the group, there's a good chance. Like if I'm not trying to get rid of you, but if Pat was like, "Hey, I'm in Austin for the weekend," like I'd go to Austin and hang out with Pat.
Oh, 100%.
Without you going, like you don't have to be here.
Man, that would make me.
Whoa.
You could leave, honestly.
You're just gonna cut out the middleman.
Yeah.
You can't because I'm
That's
the
kind of
glue.
what happened
I'm the
with me and
glue.
Max, though. So like Christian introduced me and Max, and it was only through Christian.
Yeah.
And then like a couple months went by, like me and Max were going and hanging out,
Yeah.
and Christian wasn't even invited, and he's like, "Fuck's going on,
Then I
guys?"
was to Texas and I was like, Joe, you want to live together, dude?
Yeah.
Absolutely, yes.
But that's where it's kind of cool that you guys are roommates too, because like
Yeah.
it's like we were roommates and all this kind of and it's like we're very
I
similar.
think
dudes.
it's a different level of. So when we were roommates, it was in like $1 million house with like 4,000 square feet.
Yeah,
so
no,
it wasn't
dude.
quite like we weren't living in the same room. And,
Max and
like,
I
eating
literally
mac
had
and
the
cheese.
tie on. If
Yeah.
the tie was on the thing, there was
That's
stuff.
different.
There was
That's
stuff
different.
going on.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I didn't go to college. Your mom goes to college.
Loser.
I didn't go to college, so really my first like bro experience was like Christian and Matt. Like they were the first like roommates.
Oh,
I
you
had.
didn't have that like trad
Like,
experience.
I never had like the like I think when I was probably 20 or 19 when I moved in with Christian, and that was like the first like room. I never had a roommate before that besides like my parents.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'd bring girls home at like 18. Like, yeah, my roommates are out for the night. I don't know where they went.
I mean, we had a pretty. We just chilled during. We played so much Call of Duty 4.
So much.
The duty
Oh,
chair.
dude, same.
Yeah.
I had
No, we
weeks
just
in that
crushed. We
fucking
all had
game.
girlfriends, so we just crushed COD.
We're just a bunch of bros being bros.
Yeah.
Man,
It's the best.
it's cool that like being friends with the same people that you've been friends with for like a long time. Like the
Yeah.
core people that I hung out with in college from Virginia are like I still keep up with the exact same like 5 people, 4 people.
Yeah, we're all the same dude too.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
good. And, like no one really had like a falling out. Like it's kind of like even if you don't see each other for like 6 months, a year and a half,
Yeah.
as soon as you like see each other, it's like, "What's up, dude? I don't even want to get some lunch." Like,
Yeah, I mean, and like everybody knows that guy that just got weird.
Yeah.
Like just like, oh man, like
you just never want to be that guy.
Have you talked to so and so? So dude, when my mom passed away, I thought about it every day. I was like,
Yeah.
dude, I'm gonna become the weird guy. And like, I'm just gonna handle so much grief here. Like, I'm just gonna lose my inner self, and I'm just gonna like,
But you didn't. Joe, speaking of you being the weird guy,
Yeah.
you said you wanted to run back. Did you have any tariff talks on the last episode that you wanted to like clarify things on?
No. It was the continent thing.
Oh.
No,
Hey,
I'm good. We got
you-
we got about 10 days for tariffs to get wrapped
Hey,
up.
you said 2 weeks.
I know it's been
It's only been 4 days.
yeah. Well, no, because Monday will be 1 week.
Oh, you're doing business days.
No. Yeah, like 2 weeks.
Hey,
14
So
days.
I said 14 days, but I really mean 3 weeks.
What
no,
if?
no, no,
because
no,
I'm
no, no,
counting-
no.
I'm counting
'Cause
Monday
I said
through
that
Friday.
last Monday. That podcast came out last Monday. This podcast
Yeah,
will be this
but
Monday.
when was it filmed though?
I don't know. I'm talking podcast to podcast.
Drop
I
date.
said 2 episodes. Yeah, 2
Okay.
episodes.
Real time.
We got 10 days.
Hey, I had a concept. This might sound crazy, but crazier things have happened. I mean, the moon landing.
I
Who
don't wanna hear
knows?
it.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like, hey, Lance Armstrong. Like, did you go on the moon
Did
or
Katy
not?
Perry go to space?
Is she an astronaut?
Do you think people are going to lose my mind that I said Lance Armstrong? You didn't even catch
you
that.
meant to do that, though.
I do. I say wrong things on purpose.
Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Is he still like not cool, or do we get over that?
Lance?
Yeah, is Lance like
Or
back in
Neil?
like the no Lance?
So we're okay. Yeah.
No, my question because Lance was like a god to like fitness people everywhere, and then it came out he had like steroids, and then he was like shunned from the whole thing, and now is he like?
Well, that was before when steroids were like shunned. Now it's like whatever. Dude.
yeah, I know. Is Lance back? Like if you saw Lance Armstrong, would you be like, oh shit, that's Lance Armstrong, or is it like?
I probably doubt. I was never a big cycler.
I don't think I would recognize.
I mean, he was for a while. He's like the face of Nike. He had those fucking Livestrong bracelets.
Yeah,
I mean, he
dude.
was like king.
If Lance
I
Armstrong-
remember when Livestrong dropped.
if Lance
it.
Armstrong was
Yeah.
standing in front of you at a store, would you know that's him?
Yeah.
Only because in Rat Race he has a very brief cameo, and I
movie?
know him from that. Yeah, I don't know what he
Not
looks like
just from
besides
him cycling.
No, but I know what he looks like from Rat Race.
Hey,
he's
anyway,
he's a hot
yeah,
dude.
continue.
So the conspiracy. What if?
Okay.
What's the president of China? What's his name?
Xi.
Xi.
Winnie the Pooh.
Xi.
There's a media ban.
Bear.
Demonetized.
What
media.
if Trump goes, Xi, look, we need to lower these tariffs. All the people need to lower the tariffs, and they're all like, we agree, Trump. Like we should lower. He's like, wait a second, I have an idea. What if What if we make it so that we don't have an agreement, okay? Crash the market, we all buy. It goes back up, then we fix it. We all look good. We all look like we are in cahoots with or we all look like we're friends with each other.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, everyone's like, oh my gosh, great thing, even though it's going to happen already. But this way looks way better.
Pretty good voice, dude.
Really? Or is that you're being sarcastic?
No, I'm impressed. It's better than I could do.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna try.
Huge. But do you think it could be
I don't think it's a conspiracy. I think it's a general train of thought. Like it's like we need to refinance our debt. Let's crash the dollar, refinance the debt.
Yeah. 2 months tops.
Everybody buys the dip, and then he's saying that China's reaching out. China's saying that they're not reaching out. Who is?
You know what? I do think we should investigate a little bit more.
Tell me.
I saw it was posted. So like big trades, it's all public knowledge. You can go on fucking these websites and find these like crazy ass trades.
Oh.
So like last week, NVIDIA, right before Trump announced the block on NVIDIA and AMD from selling chips to China, like 2 hours before that announcement, someone bought $3 million of puts on NVIDIA and made $32 million or something.
Just a hunch, bro.
No, I'm like,
Yeah.
like it's weird to me that like the SEC is not like, we should look into this. They're just like, well, it happened. Like you see these like crazy options that get bought like right before something's announced.
I mean, even
and it's
he
like, how is
announced
this
that
not
the tariff pause. Somebody bought a bunch of
like
options trading.
margin green, whatever it is.
Yeah, no, I mean,
bought a
the
bunch of
fix is in,
calls.
dude. Like I enjoy a good tinfoil hat story.
I mean, that's not even
I
tin
love
foil.
it. But it's so blatantly obvious.
Well, and then didn't he tweet like right now is a great time to buy? Like
Yes.
an hour later, fucking.
Yes, dude.
I'm like, I feel like I think you're asking for an investigation here. Like,
But I mean, what's the SEC like? What are they?
I
They're
don't know.
probably in on it too.
I don't know. He's getting real hard to defend, but also on the flippity floppity though, I'm going to maintain it, dude. I think for the average American, things are good. Immigration's at an all-time low right now. Like
Pat,
outside of the tariffs, everything is kind of good.
Is it though?
Yeah.
The comment sections are turning on Joe.
I know.
I've been reading, dude.
So here's my problem, right? If you read the comments, like you're a fucking idiot. Blah. If you just look at data, which I don't know why people have such a hard time looking at fucking data points. Inflation's down.
Okay.
Gas prices are down. Grocery prices are down.
How are eggs?
Down.
Okay.
Fucking immigration is at an all-time low. We had less people cross last month than like one day out of every month when
And
Biden
stocks
was
are down.
So I mean, with the yeah, and,
So I'm just saying, like-
the dollar has crashed 10%.
that happened too.
So but is that your talking point?
No, but I
thought-
feel like most people, my issue is like the people that are the most anti-Trump are the people that have like a 9 to 5 that hasn't adjusted with no money in the market and have no business. Like that's my thing, right?
So
It's
you mean like 95% of Americans?
that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, like those are the people that are the most upset. They're like, oh my God, you're okay with the stock market crashing? Like, oh, what do you have, $8 in the fucking stock market? Like, you're freaking out about this? Calm down, dude.
But still, but it's those people that slowly build their 401ks to retire at a certain age.
I think anyone complaining about a 401k right now shouldn't be complaining. I think if you're retired,
what if you're 63?
then you can complain, but that's not who's complaining. It's always like the 17-year-old purple-haired girl that's like, oh my God, the stock market, I told you this is going to happen. And it's like, you're not fucking doing anything in the stock market.
Yeah. But I mean, that doesn't say that there's not a bunch of other issues that are concerning, like obviously the guy in El Salvador, like throwing out due process, you're arresting judges. These are very, very large social concerns.
I have a question.
And it's like, yeah, but the eggs though, bro.
Here's the counter to the El Salvador guy, right? Everyone's got to follow due process. Where the fuck was the due process when we had 10 million illegal immigrants flood across the border with no due process and we're just going to let them into the fucking country?
Yeah, it just sets a precedent though. But you can go so far down and the things are so complicated where I'll get so wrapped up in it and I'll like text Tom or Derek and like who are polar opposites. Great. If you're texting them at the same time, it's hysterical. But, and you're like, but I'm scared that I'm the guy that's like, if I'm the guy in the middle, like, oh, it's like, yo, he's a centrist, which means he's too scared to have an opinion. I'm just worried that I'm not smart enough,
Bingo.
to really comprehend this. It's like, well, they say like the definition of like certainty is stupidity, where you're like so convicted towards one way and you can't change your mind about something.
Joe's a bigot for sure.
Yeah, no, 100%.
But then it's like, so I try to get these educational points from my friends that, and then I'm like, maybe I'm just not smart enough to really truly understand this situation. I feel like I have a moral compass, what's right and wrong here, but like you'll get really emotional, like you'll read some Reddit comments or something and you're like, yeah. And then you'll talk to someone about it and you're like, wait, what? I didn't even know that,
Yeah.
and you're like, shit. and now I'm back at square one.
What do you think will happen? We're getting to the end here, but like, let's just say, I'm going to put random percentages, okay? So it's just irrelevant what they are. But let's say all tariffs before this whole debacle were at 30%, let's just say, for this argument. And then during tariffs, this whole thing, I want them to 700%, whatever, I'll skyrocket. But then, and everyone's like so mad. What if after tariffs, this is, I guess, best case scenario maybe, let's say they're now 15% after the smoke's clear. It's been 4 months, right? And it's now lower. Would everyone at that point, would they go like, we still shouldn't have had to go through that? Or will they go, well, I mean, I guess that, okay, all right, it's cool. Like, like that was actually, okay, he did good. Like, do you think the people that are so angry, if in the hopefully near future it comes out that everything is net better for America, do you think that everyone will backstep the anger that they had, or will they still be like, that's not the way it should have happened?
I have no problem admitting, I've never been more one way or another here, but if that happens, of course, be like, dude, you're right. If you're right,
what if in a month it's like all the tariffs are lower, and in a month
that is gonna happen.
Like the market's at an all-time high?
It's 100% going to happen. The problem is going to be people like Christian that were caught in the middle of it, and those people are going to hold a grudge. The guy that had $2 million in shit coming into the country that just had to pay a huge bill, and then it goes down next month, and it's like, what the fuck?
Well, wouldn't the argument be like, I'm sorry that you had to take a hit so America could
that would be my argument, right?
Profit, okay?
Like people comment on the last pod and were like, oh, it's so convenient that Joe like doesn't care about his friend. And it's like, yeah, but like I think I have no problem like converting people to data points.
You really read
and
the
looking
comments.
at it sometimes.
But
I mean, but like I think if you look at it as like people are get rid of the feelings and the emotions, just look at like data points, right? Like yes, it sucks that one person has to deal with this, but if it's for the benefit of 7 million people, then like I'm very much like, okay, that's
people
fine.
would say the same thing about Thanos. You
Yeah,
know?
no, this is.
Do you think he's actually saving
And maybe that
humanity?
makes me a fucking psychopath.
But
I
it's
don't know.
but it's also this kind of thing where it's like, what if that doesn't happen? And then it's like, he's gonna play the card of like, I created this huge problem and then I took it away.
Yeah.
So that's
He'll take credit for fixing it.
That means I'm the savior, even though I created the problem.
Here's the thing. Just like with everything in the world, it's going to be a 50-50 shot. It's either going to happen or it's not going to happen. 50-50.
If I'm a betting man, this happens every 4 years. I think that's where I'm more like, just let it. Even with Biden, I didn't like Biden, but even when it's like, oh my God, the economy's, it's at the end of 4 years, I promise you everything's gonna be fine, and we're gonna elect a new president, and everything's gonna keep going on the same. Like, it doesn't matter. I promise you, within a year, all of this, you're not even gonna fucking remember this. It'll just be a thing that happened 7 months ago. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong, but again,
I just can't wait for 1 week
I'm not.
from today when this episode goes up. Tariffs are done because of Joe what said. So
maybe they are.
If you were really into like believe in Joe, you would just put your life savings into the stock market based on Joe's speculation.
I mean, it's kind of what everybody does. Anyway.
I mean, if you would have
like basically 401k.
How many people do you think you've gotten to buy AMD?
How many people are making a shit ton of money off of? I mean, for everyone that's pissed off their 401ks are fucked, there's a lot of people that are making a shit ton of money in the market right now.
Yeah, dude, options calling just not for me. I mean, you could see it like, I mean, you can all see it. Like, man, I'm gonna short everything because I got a bad feeling about this. But oh my god, if you bought
anything from the day that tariffs were announced to now, you're up at least 10%. I mean, everything is up from. I mean, anyone that bought the day after the market crash is up 10% right now.
No.
Maybe not on VU and shit.
Maybe if you bought everything a week ago when like
I think that's what I mean. Like, do you mean the crash as in like as soon as he announced all the tariffs on that meeting
a week ago?
Was
I'm
Liberation
saying
Day?
The market
the lowest was like a week ago.
Whenever everything fucking crashed to now.
Liberation Day.
Yeah.
But then it crashed
around there. Yeah, we're up a little bit. There's a light at the end of the tunnel for investors. Maybe.
Well, I mean, it's all about your time horizon. Like,
correct.
Just it's the whole Bogleheads thing. And so I've been trying to link you guys up with the Boglehead stuff. Just don't even pay attention to it. Get that screen time down.
I can't, bro. I spent an hour on Robinhood
I
today.
didn't get that.
All right. In your opinion, what do you guys rate this episode? Was this a good one? Do you feel good about this? I like to ask this at the end. You think it's a good episode?
I loved it. Yeah. No, I mean, I feel great about it. I'm just honored to be on, a little kind of a little Virginia boy.
As someone who like watches the podcast, what do you enjoy about this podcast that like, cause now I don't do like just straight interviews. It's just like usually me, Christian, and Joe just shooting the shit. What is from an outsider perspective who you consume all these episodes?
Yeah. I mean, there'll be times where I just like I got through ebbs and like I said, like, even with the screen time stuff, I got through like weird peaks and valleys of I'll just get really into Instagram and I'll get really into YouTube and all this kind of stuff, and then I'll get stressed out. Something will really stress me out, and I just go back to reading books and no tech. But I do my best to either visually while I'm doing stuff at the shop. I've got you guys on because I love to watch podcasts. It's my favorite content. But also just in the car, got a long drive or whatever. I love the way that's evolved. That's like one of the first things I said. I'm like, dude, I love the aesthetics of it. You know, these humble beginnings. I think everybody loves a good kind of Cinderella humble beginning story where it was like, you were just throwing everything out there and see what stuck. And now it has this kind of elegant, you know, it's kind of soothing content. It doesn't feel so regimented.
You hear that, Joe? We're elegant and soothing.
Well, I mean, look at this light, dude.
I know. The aesthetic's nice.
Someone's down there just fucking raging right now. It's not soothing for them.
Do you think? I hope Pat's camera was focusing on him, not just the microphone in front of his face. I realize the microphone's kind of high, but that's all right.
It's the zip tie, dude.
Do you think? Last thing I'll say is like, do you think?
Sit up a little bit.
Do you think, as a viewer of the podcast, like, this is a podcast I've noticed. It's like where you watch like maybe Chris Williamson or something that's like very like maybe a business like specific. Where ours are like literally just three dudes talking about the most random stuff every week.
But you have like creators and stuff on there. Like even when I was like, talking about that guy who wrote the like.
Is talking about the random stuff like enjoyable?
I love it. I think it's the best. Just the bands, dude. Like it's in the boys. You know, it's like I love it. Like, and it's
I'm gonna
like,
keep this format for a bit, I think.
Yeah, no, and I think that like, you know, when David was on, like I thought his takes on politics were very refreshing.
Well, they're finally combating against someone who just won't change his views about anything.
Well, you need that guy. And dude, like I remember just like, but you need that guy to like. I remember it was like the last podcast one before. We were like, I'm just gonna stick my neck out here, and I'm like, ooh, like,
yeah, I don't know.
Everybody needs the hot take. That's
whenever
Tom.
Joe's just like, all right, I'm gonna say something.
Yeah,
I'm just like,
all right, baby, let's go.
I think people just think into it a little too much too. So like me and David are very good friends. I think people left that episode like, oh, like David and Joe like hate each other, like and it's like no, like I don't think you have to be so fucking one way or the other. Like someone disagrees with you, like oh, you hate each other. It's like no, you can fucking
but I mean, if it was a bunch of four guys just going, hey, excellent point, you'd be like, that would just be boring as hell.
Yeah, no, I agree. You need a little pushback.
You know, I don't know if I said.
I will say real quick.
Okay,
I think I love Christian, but when Christian's not on, I think we need like someone that's like an expert in. So like you like the leather working and wood, like you bring something that we don't have.
Yeah.
I feel like we need like bring a teacher on, like a geologist. Like I think we need like
Joe, are you basically saying you want to cut Christian out?
No, I'm just saying
said that you did it once before.
we did. I just think it is nice. I think like
Christian's
Joe Rogan gets away with it.
What if we had a teacher on instead of Christian?
Yeah.
What if you had like a flat earther?
That's what I'm saying.
Just dunked on him.
Just someone that's like so outlandish. I think that's why Joe Rogan does so well because he has like someone that's an expert on space come in and talk about space.
Yeah, but
like,
I think half the enjoyment that I like is just like the debauchery between like friends. And if you bring a random person, I'm just gonna be like, that's really interesting. I really enjoy that. And I don't want to sound like an idiot to him, so I'm gonna be like, why do you feel that way? Like I
think I like, and I think they definitely like this. I like being like, oh, hey Joe, you're retarded. Chili doesn't mean fucking beef. I think having that other person on where like if it's just Christian, I think all of us like no one would have caught that. Y'all would have been like, oh yeah, that's right.
No, I would have caught that.
Maybe I don't know, but I think it's nice to have somebody that like has some knowledge in a field and then go after that field a little bit.
The value that you brought during this episode was that you confronted Joe on his chili not being beef.
Yeah. I mean, if you guys need a fourth, dude, I'm
gonna start ordering carne con queso.
Carne con queso.
It's hard enough to just Joe. You've been very consistent, but it's hard like every week I'm down for the pod.
Yeah,
but like to get a fourth person consistently.
No, I don't think we can have four. It has to be three.
So you want to cut Christian?
No, I'm just saying if he can't. Sometimes Christian's busy, and then
I texted him today.
I
said, yo, I was like, hey, we're actually filming a pod in 30 minutes. If you want to make it, I realize you're in town. I know you're busy tomorrow, Sunday, but like you can come on, like, or I can see you next week. And he thumbs it up to see you next week.
I just think in the event that he wants to take a break, we have like a.
Yeah, I mean, what's
like an accountant? Bring a fucking accountant on.
Would you say you're more committed to the pod than Christian?
No, I think I'm less busy than
the
Christian.
president of the HOA on.
To
HOA.
Exactly.
Bring the
right?
HOA guy on.
Like that'd be an interesting. Like,
why do you hate me?
Why are you wrong?
Why are you the way you are?
Like
Tosh. Tosh did that. Like his podcasts are really successful, and it's always like a random. It's like my wife's gynecologist. I'd watch that. That's
all right, guys. Next episode, we are going to bring Taylor's gynecologist on this show. But for now, leave some comments down below. Attack Joe. Say nice things about Pat. Check out his leather business. If you're in Richmond, Virginia, go to his store. Yeah, that'll wrap up this Potter. New episodes every single Monday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, unless you don't get one. If you're on YouTube, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you're on Instagram or not Instagram. If you're on any sort of podcast streaming service, give us a 5-star review. Don't know what it does, but I think it helps. Thanks so much for tuning in. Eat more sour strips. Ever forward.
Hey, dude, 10 days. No more tariffs.
Bye. Not
AMD.
advice.
Strong buy.
I still haven't bought AMD, dude. Terrible stock. You should have gotten that.